Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
We went in dry, people. That's what we did. I was late. I'm sorry. Apologies to anybody out there actually paying attention. I was a few minutes late. It's all on me. Blame no one but myself. And I apologize profusely. So, how's everybody doing? How's everybody's weekend going? Hopefully really well. I hope. Hope you guys are having a good weekend.
Oh, I wish mine was going well.
What happened now?
It's just work shit. Just
okay.
Unreliable employees.
Oh, well, that's normal life.
Yes.
Unless you're your only employee, and then it's not too big of a problem. But how many people does that happen for? What's up, Quinn? I see Quinn's out there. Quinn has a reliable employee. It's him.
Himself?
That's probably why his shop is so awesome. So, I think about it. And I'm going to give Quinn shit for a minute here. Here's a dude who, got to take the two things he loves, comics and toys, and open up a comic and toy shop. And that's what he gets to do. I'm not saying it's not work or it's not hard. I know it is. But wouldn't that be awesome? Like if I could have a shop where I got to mix the two things that I love to do, my two hobbies, toys and other stuff, man, that would be awesome. I mean, it'd be hard work. There's no doubt about it. But that'd be awesome. I'm glad for Quinn. I'm glad there are some people out there who get to do the thing they love to do. Quinn's shop is awesome, by the way. If you're ever down in South Texas, go check out his shop. He's got a great shop. Anyway, welcome to the Week in Geek, ladies and gentlemen. How you guys doing? I have absolutely, positively no script for tonight's show. Primarily because, well, there really wasn't much going on this week. It was like the first dead week of movies and TV in 2 months. I feel like I've been to the movies every weekend to see some new movie that's come out since Guardians of the Galaxy came out back in May. And I feel like between Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm trying to think what all come out. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Transformers Rise of the Beast, we had Indiana Jones, we had Mission Impossible. Last week or whenever it was Oppenheimer, Flash, and I know I'm probably only hitting half of them there at this point. I can't even remember because I feel like I feel like I've been to go to the movies every single weekend since May because something was coming out. And this weekend when there was nothing, I think the Meg 2 came out, maybe. Was that this weekend? Which is fine. I want to see the Meg 2 because I saw the first one, but it's not something I'm going to go to the movies to see. You know what I mean? I want to see it, but it's not a get up and get dressed and go to the movies and get popcorn and all this stuff. It's fine. It's a cool the first Meg movie was a good it's like a B movie, but a little bit better. You could tell it had a nice budget and Jason Statham and a few other people and some actors, while not A-list actors, but people It did not look in budget or the hiring of the talent. It didn't look like a B movie, but it certainly was kind of a B movie feel. Giant megalodon shark comes to attack. It was fun. I like those types of movies. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of Sharknado. Love all, I think 5. I think there was 5 Sharknados. They're great. They're ridiculous, but they're great. But even movies I watched about a week and a half ago or something like that. I rewatched Rampage, the Dwayne Johnson movie, the Rock movie, where he's got the giant gorilla and all that. There's the giant gorilla, the giant mutated wolf, and the giant mutated alligator. And it was based off of a video game that had roughly no story. But it's a big, dumb, fun action movie, right? I like those movies. I want to see the Meg too. But it's just not something that, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, well, you may go to the movies to see that. It'll probably be streaming in about a month somewhere where I'll get to watch it at home. And that's probably what I'll do. So there really wasn't anything that came out. I tried the whole Barbie movie thing. I know that was the big push, and I'm not getting into the politics of the movie or what people's opinion are. I don't give a crap about that. I give a crap was it an entertaining movie? And I got 30 minutes into this movie and was so bored. And I'm watching it with my wife, and she's so bored. She's playing on her phone, and we just stopped watching the movie. So I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't doing anything for me. I mean, maybe I'll try again at some point. I don't know. I might, try to suck it up and muscle through it. I know we had Charlie on last week who was telling us that he had watched the whole movie, and he said there were some good parts of it or something. I don't know. Apparently, I didn't get that far because everything I saw just bored the ever living hell out of me. So I don't know. I guess we'll see at this point. But yeah, there wasn't much going on this week. I've been watching. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show on Netflix, The Lincoln Lawyer. I don't know if anybody's watched that or not. It's a lawyer show. The guy from Los Angeles. It's like very, very, very loosely based on the movie The Lincoln Lawyer, which I think was based on a book. So maybe this is based on the book, or maybe it's based on the movie. I don't remember. The movie had like Matthew McConaughey in it. I saw the movie once. I don't remember much about it, to be honest with you. The show is actually really good. They dropped the second season. I've been kind of watching that a little bit. Been like, because there was nothing on, been rewatching some Stargate Atlantis. I did, however, watch the new episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds this week. Now, this is a show that I have loved. I mean, I really have. It's like the closest thing to old school Star Trek I've seen in a really, really long time. And not only this season, a couple episodes ago, did they have what for me was one of like the best episodes of Star Trek I've seen in a really long time. It's an episode called Those Old Scientists. And it was just incredibly entertaining and fun. And it wasn't taking itself seriously, but like it was just good, like it felt like good old school, like Gene Roddenberry entertainment, a little bit of a time travel story. It was just a good, fun story for Star Trek. Absolutely loved it. One of the best things I've seen of Star Trek in a really, really long time. Yet 2 episodes later, they do, I don't remember the name of this episode. Like, it's called Subspace Rhapsody. And it is an all musical episode of Star Trek. And it had to be about the worst thing Star Trek I may have ever seen. It was awful. It was embarrassing as a Star Trek fan. It was just horrible in every way I can possibly imagine. Like, first of all, let me just make something clear. I'm not a big fan of musicals. Like, I grew up with them like most people did because, growing up in the 70s and 80s, we dealt with a lot of reruns. So lots of Disney movies and things like that, So I grew up with a lot of classic musicals. Well, one of a movie that I loved as a kid was this movie called The Music Man. If nobody's ever seen it, I get it. Most people today wouldn't care. But in general, I'm not big on musicals. I mean, the only musical I've seen in my adult life that I was actually like, okay, that was a good movie was The Greatest Show on Earth, the Hugh Jackman movie where he played, who did he play? I don't remember anymore. But anyway, it was a good movie and very rare that I actually like a musical, okay? And so I guess musical stuff is fine. For me, it's mostly just not something I enjoy. But if there is one franchise I can think of that should never, ever, 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 no way in hell, ever do a musical episode, it's motherfucking Star Trek. Holy shit. This was so bad. Like, it hurt to watch this episode of television. It hurt. It physically hurt me. Honda, did you want to say something?
Which Star Trek are we talking about here?
I can't.
Okay, I'm messing with my settings because shit got fucked up. Okay, can
Oh,
you hear me now?
okay. I can hear you now, but I can myself.
God damn it.
I feel like Honda wants to say something about this shitty episode of Star Trek. Although I don't think he's watched it because he doesn't watch the show. But no, it's fucking awful. It's just fucking awful. And such a disappointment because so far I haven't had any episodes of Strange New Worlds. Granted, we're only, in the second season and they're short seasons, 10 episodes. But like, I've liked every bit of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. And to hit this episode like a damn brick wall was just so bad. So bad. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I remember even back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I can't remember when they did it. They did the musical episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I know is like widely regarded as one of the greatest, especially in geek culture, as one of like the greatest musical episodes ever.
Did I fix it? Can you hear yourself still?
I can no longer hear myself, and I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Which is what we want, damn it.
Yes.
Round of applause for Honda. Yes.
Sorry, I'm eating salmon and listening to What Star Trek is this?
Strange New Worlds. This is the new one that is a prequel to the original series back when Pike was in charge of the Enterprise.
Okay.
And it's normally really, really good.
Yeah, you were saying like the one episode was one of the best episodes you've ever seen of Star Trek, which is
it was fucking amazing.
Makes me want to watch it, dude, honestly. But like, yeah, all musical Star Trek, fuck that shit.
Well, I don't know who thought music in Star Trek. Oh, what a natural thing to do. No, it's not. It was the most cringe-worthy episode of anything Star Trek I've ever seen in my life. It was awful.
There were a couple episodes of Voyager that were quite musical,
and there's always been those episodes that get a little far off track, and you're like, maybe somebody should have reined them in when they were directing this episode, and that does happen. This was by far the worst, absolutely 100% the worst, most uncomfortable and cringy episode of Star Trek I have ever seen.
What about that? Okay, I actually like this episode, but a lot of people don't like it. The episode of Next Generation, where Picard falls in love with the musical girl and plays his flute, and then she dies. Or she doesn't die, but she like someone almost dies, and he really worries about her, and then she like transfers to a different ship.
Oh yeah. No, I do. No, that's actually a really good episode. I like the episodes where we get to see Picard like outside of his "I'm the captain" element. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And I thought it was really well done. And
I like that episode. I think that's a good episode.
Yeah.
I think some of the best episodes in Next Generation are the episodes where it's like not an end of the world scenario, and like it's just focusing maybe on one character or something. The very famous episode called Data's Day. I don't know if anybody remembers this one, which just kind of focused on a day in the life of Commander Data. Fantastic episode. I love that stuff. But yeah, there are some kind of, there are times when, I mean, especially if you go back and watch that first season of Next Generation, there are some episodes in that very first season of Next Generation, when everybody's getting their footing, you can tell the actors aren't completely comfortable in their roles yet, and everybody's doing the best they can. Riker doesn't have his beard yet. There's some episodes in there where you're just kind of like, okay, all right. And it happens. All Star Trek goes through. I mean, I think especially the big three, right? The Next Generation, DS9, and Voyager. In those first seasons of those shows, there's always a few episodes that are kind of like, where stuff's going on or whatever, right? As the cast and crew and everybody in the show itself is kind of getting its footing. But this was far worse than anything, especially for a show that pretty much right off the bat, from the first episode, kind of stuck the landing, And I don't know who convinced them that this was a good idea. You know what I mean? I don't know who convinced them.
Do you remember the episode of Deep Space Nine, The Runaway Home? Season 1.
I don't remember it by name, no.
Where there's the group of aliens from the Gamma Quadrant who visit the station, and they want to play a game. They want to like gamble, and then Quark cheats them, so then they play their game, which uses like people from the station as characters, and they think that they're like gonna die or whatever, and like Cisco has to like sing a song as he does a hopscotch. Oh my god, it's like the worst episode
Yes.
ever.
Okay. No, I remember that scene.
Yes.
I remember that scene, and yes, yeah.
So I get, and I haven't seen it, but I was reading an article about Lower Decks and how they used that particular episode of Deep Space Nine and like use it as like deep canon and make fun of it.
Yeah.
How bad it was.
And by the way, Lower Decks is fucking awesome. Lower Decks is an amazing show because it will take moments like funny, maybe even cringy, embarrassing moments from Star Trek and like bring that up in casual conversation. You know what I mean? Like just randomly, oh, remember that time Worf, blah, 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 or whatever, you know. And it's great. It really is. It's a fantastic show. And I think that's why the 2 episodes before this, which was an episode called Those Old Scientists, it's a crossover episode between Lower Decks, an animated show, and Strange New Worlds. And what they did is they took the 2 main voice actors from Lower Decks, who are actors in their own right. Like you've seen them in stuff before. In fact, Jack Quaid is the main character. He plays Boimler on Strange New Worlds, and Jack Quaid is an actor. He's the guy. He's the normal guy from The Boys. You know, the guy that gets his girlfriend killed in the first episode and joins The Boys. Right? Like that's Jack Quaid. He's also Dennis Quaid's actual son. Dennis Quaid, Meg Ryan's son. That's why his name is Jack Quaid. Anyway, he's like a legit actor. But like, so they just got those voice actors to play the live action versions of their characters when they like go through time and end up on an episode of Strange New Worlds. And it was just such a fun episode seeing these 2 good shows do a crossover in a fun way. There was nothing major going on, no major huge conflict other than 2 characters being thrown through time and ending up on the bridge of the Enterprise, where of course, like, you know, Boimler's like a mega, he's like and even on the show, he's a mega geek, right? Like he's a big nerd, stickler for the rules, scared to step out of play, all this stuff, right? And so when he ends up on Pike's Enterprise, of course, he's just in like, you know, geek heaven where he's like, you know, he's read about Number One and Pike his entire life, and he's a huge fan of Spock, and now he's meeting these characters, and he's just a huge fanboy, and he's acting like a giant geek around him. And it was just fun. This is really, really fun. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had watching an episode of Star Trek.
It was a good episode.
It was great. I loved it. And then to go from that to 2 episodes later doing a musical episode is just such a WTF moment of like, what in the hell were they thinking? You know? Like, I don't understand at all. It was just horrible.
I don't even watch the series. I only watched it because I wanted to see the crossover, see how they handle it.
Yeah. And I thought they did a great job handling it.
Yeah.
I thought it worked, even though you've got 2 shows with very, very different tones.
Is one of the like writers or producers or directors or whatever from that background where they did like musicals and stuff before? Like, what's it called in New York?
Oh, like theater or whatever, musical theater.
Yeah, where all the theaters are. Like we're like, I can't remember what it's called. God damn it! Shows you how much I fucking know.
Well, they did
But
this.
if, like, one of those people is like from theater, has a theater background, does musicals. Like,
he's like, oh, we should do
we need a filler episode. And he's like, I got it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I've been waiting my whole life for this. I've been an intern, and now I got this. Well, because they did that a couple seasons ago. I think it was a couple seasons ago. I can't remember. Maybe it was last year or something. I don't know. On Flash, they did a musical episode of Flash, which was arguably just as bad, although I would make the argument that it was less offensive on Flash than it is on a Star Trek show. Like it made slightly more sense for Flash than it did for Star Trek. But like I just those musical episodes, I don't like them at all. I'm not a musical theater dude. I don't like musicals.
Now
You know,
I didn't watch the episode
Well-
of Flash, and so I think it's after I got out of Flash, and I think we're getting an echo.
I
Are we
mean, I'll
getting
say
echo?
this: it's a given. You know, like with any TV shows, they got to have a musical episode. You got to have a holiday episode. You know, it's like a tradition.
The best musical episode was the animated series, like Batman Brave and the Brave and the Bold.
Bold, yeah.
And there's a character called the Music Meister. He can actually control people's minds by singing, which made sense, and it was so well done.
Well, oh, it's
Best
funny. You know what?
musical-
You know what?
Best
Think it was the
musical
best
is Fiddler
musicals.
on the Roof, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just thought of it. You know what's a good animated show that had best musicals? Animaniacs.
Best musical, Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers is awesome. And again, it's
Yeah.
not that there aren't some good musicals out there. You know, I mean, for a lot of us here growing up, you know, throughout the 70s and 80s and seeing Music Man and Blues Brothers, and you know, I mean, there's stuff out there that's good and fun and entertaining and handles the subject in a way that it doesn't come off as cheesy or anything like that. I do feel they're kind of few and far between. But like, yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes, and I watch Disney movies, which basically are musicals, just like everybody else did growing up. So, but just in general, like, especially when you take something like television, where you've got kind of a set, you know, gimmick, as it were, for what your show is. And then you're like, well, let's do a musical. And you're like, oh God, this is going to be horrible. And 99% of the time it is. I can't think of any musical episodes of television that I thought were good. I know I mentioned it earlier, but like that Buffy episode from the late 90s or early 2000s or whatever it is that everybody always talks about. It's one of the great, like, I think that sucked personally. And I loved Buffy and Angel, and that was a horrible episode. And in that episode, it made sense. It made sense. There was that demon that was, you know, could make people sing and all this stuff. And it, you know, it fit with the show. I still thought it was horrible. I still found it violently unentertaining. So, you know, and it made way more sense for Buffy than it did for Star Trek.
Oh, and they're even like saying like all the things Star Trek got right from Buffy, like the musical. It's like, no.
There you go. I just dropped a link to the top 20 musical episodes from TV.
Okay, I got to check this out.
Finally got my regular Nightfall.
Oh, finally?
Yep.
How long where'd you get that one from?
I got it from Amazon.
Amazon. Oh, Amazon finally delivered on something Batman for you.
I know, they didn't cancel it on me.
There you go. All right, let's see. I want to see greatest musical TV episodes ever. Let's see how many of these I've actually seen, because probably not many of them.
I'm like I said, I'm still thinking Animaniacs is a good one for
Let's
animation.
see. Grey's Anatomy, never watched a single episode. Clone High, never watched a single episode. One Life to Live, never watched a single episode. Daria, I've seen some Daria back in the 90s, but I don't remember a musical episode.
If Batman Brave the Bold's not on this list, it's completely wrong anymore.
Bullshit.
They're probably doing something that's not animation at all. They're all thinking
What is Passions? I don't even know what this is. Is this an American show? I don't know what that is.
I think Passions is a
The Magicians.
TV
Actually, you know what? All right, they caught me here. This actually is a really good show. And I do remember this episode, and it was done really well. I don't know if anybody in here watched The Magicians on Sci-Fi Channel. It got like 5 seasons. It was actually a really good show. I do remember this musical episode, and I will say this episode did not turn my stomach. Okay, they got me on this one. Okay. The Flash duet. Yeah, there you go. That episode sucked. Community, never watched the show. I think I've watched the first episode like 4 times, intending to binge watch the series, and I never get past the first episode. So, never seen that. Lucifer, Bloody Celestial Karaoke Jam. I don't remember this, but I had to have seen it because I've watched every episode of Lucifer, and I don't remember hating any of them. So I must have seen this, and it must not have pissed me off. So
I'm telling you, it was pretty well done.
Okay. Futurama, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings.
No, that's a good one.
I'm sure I've seen it. Again, don't remember it. Batman Brave and the Bold. There you go.
There you go.
Batman Brave and the Bold. Mayhem of Music Meister. Okay, you got to give props to the list, Jared.
Yep, I have to give props where props due.
All right, there it is. I've never seen it, but there you go. Even Stevens, never seen an episode. Dexter's Lab, Libretto. I've seen a lot of Dexter's Lab. I don't know. Anybody remember this one? I don't. I don't remember that one. Psych, the musical. I have seen this, and I will tell you, I did not enjoy it at all. And I loved Psych. I thought Psych was a fantastic show. Those episodes sucked. Once Upon a Time, Song in Your Heart. My daughter would remember this. She was obsessed with this show. I, however, do not. Fringe, Brown Betty. Oh, man, I haven't watched Fringe in so long. I don't remember a musical episode, though.
Same, I ain't seen Fringe either in a while.
Okay, I'll
That
take
show
their word
starts
for it.
strong and end a week.
Okay, they got me again. Scrubs, my musical, was pretty fucking funny. I remember this episode, and I think it was because the musical stuff worked so well with the comedy that it just kind of fit in well. And it's an episode where, like, there's a person who's in, like, she can only hear everything because she's got a brain disorder, and she hears everything in, like, singing. And so they kind of play off that in the show. That actually was a good episode. Simpsons, an episode of Simpsons from season 8. I don't remember that. Xena did a musical episode. Oh shit, I don't remember this one. I haven't watched Xena since like the 90s. So.
No one's
Same
watched
here.
Xena since the 90s.
I know. Although it was a good
I want to go
show.
back and watch Xena, Beastmaster, all that shit.
Xena was a great show. I liked Xena. I loved Xena and The Adventures of Hercules. I liked both those shows a lot. Oh, there we go. Of course, the number one is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Once More with Feeling. Again, I'm not going to say it was a bad episode. It was fine for what it was, but as somebody who doesn't care about musicals, I was not a fan of this episode. So okay, they got me on a couple. The Scrubs episode was good. I did like that one. And what was the other one I said was good? Oh, Lucifer. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'm sure it was good. And The Magicians. Those three they got me on. Okay. So 3 out of 20. That or what was it? Yeah, 3 out of 20. They got me on 3 out of 20. So that's something, I guess. But anyway.
I mean, like I said, looking at that list, like I told you, it's a tradition. Got to have a musical and something.
Yeah. And I get it. And I think Honda's dead on right. Like, it's one of those situations where, like, oh, who's the one person that has a musical? I just forgot the term. I literally just said it. Who's got a musical background? And then the one guy who's like, finally,
who's the dude
it's
from Broadway?
My chance to shine.
Which one's the dude from Broadway?
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
It's Broadway, right? 'Cause
Exactly.
everyone's from Broadway in New York.
Yeah. The one dude's like, he's just so happy he finally gets a shot. So happy. Oh, I finally made it, Mom. I got to do a musical episode of Star Trek. Yeah. All right. Anyway. I don't know. Dom says, don't forget about the Muppets, which were great. The Muppets were a great, I mean, that was basically a musical. All the Muppet movies were basically musicals. Those were actually good.
If you were going to write an episode of Star Trek, what crew, like which genre, whatever it would be, would you write it in? And who would be like what would be the story? Like who'd be the bad guys or whatever?
Well, my favorite crew is TNG. I think they're the best crew. Like them better than TOS crew. And I grew up with TOS crew. But TNG, just all the characters nailed it except for fucking Wesley. He should never be.
I'll say, what about Deep Space Nine?
I was gonna say I would write a Deep Space Nine episode about the Borg.
I think you could do more with a Deep Space Nine episode because of the connection to the Gamma Quadrant and everything. I think you've got more room to do newer and more interesting things, which is odd because when the show started, I remember the number one complaint about the show for the first couple seasons were, what the hell are we going to do on a stationary, station, right?
Okay. So check this storyline arc out.
Okay.
Cisco gets assimilated, and as part of the Borg, gets his own name like Locutus, who, if you remember, Cisco's wife was killed by Locutus and the Borg, so then he has to be saved by Patrick Stewart and the Enterprise. They swoop in and do a crossover one more time.
Oh, that's good.
That's a great episode, isn't it?
That's a great episode because then Cisco has to forgive because he always had a problem with Patrick Stewart with Captain Picard. And that's what I was going to say. It brings closure to how he feels about Picard. Because then he's got to realize that it wasn't Picard because the same thing happened to him and he was out of control and he couldn't, he didn't have any control over himself in that situation. So it brings closure to that. Are we ever going to get Cisco back in anything? Has he ever come back? I know there's been some comic series and things for DS9 that take place after the show.
There's a current comic book right now for DS9, but
does Cisco come back?
Like the actor himself, he's just chill, just don't, he don't really trip on, going back on the Hollywood.
He's been blackballed
give him a lot of money.
Hollywood.
He's a weird dude.
But is he actually
Avery Brooks? Avery Brooks is a weird dude.
Is he a weird dude, or is it part of the things because he got blackballed and they said that rumor?
Well, maybe that's what made him weird. I don't know, because I have seen him in interviews, and he's very eccentric. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know what it is?
He is an eccentric type.
He comes off and I know this is because he's classically trained in musical theater. He comes off as one of those very eccentric theater geeks. And, I don't know if that had anything to do with him getting blackballed. I have no idea.
What was the whole thing about him getting blackballed?
He sounds like he's talking in jazz.
Yes.
That's what, he's a very, rhythmic kind of way of speaking. The way that you say it's almost more important than what you're saying kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell he's a guy who takes a lot of pride of his work, but I was going to say, what was he blackballed in if y'all know that answer?
I have no idea. I didn't know he was blackballed.
Can't remember.
I mean, I know he's got black balls, but I didn't know he was blackballed.
He's made mention about being black from Hollywood, and other actors have too, where they blackball him. That's part of one of the things that made him eccentric. He's actually a acting professor now.
Yeah, I know that part.
He wouldn't have sex with that
Epstein?
one dude. Yeah,
probably.
Or not Epstein.
Weinstein. Yeah.
He wouldn't have sex
to be
with
Weinstein because there's some that are gay out there in some of those leading seats.
Yeah. Eduardo says, "Does he speak with jazz hands?" He kind of does. If you've seen him in interviews, he kind of does. Yeah. It's a little weird, but
the Pale Moonlight is probably one of the best episodes of Star Trek ever.
Yep, agreed. That's the one where Cisco double crosses the Romulans to get them to join the war against the Dominion.
They end up killing a Romulan senator.
Yeah, and they kill a Romulan senator and frame the Cardassians for doing it.
The Dominion.
Well, Dominion, Cardassian, same thing.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if in the comics, the DS9 comics that are out now, if they've ever decided, been like, hey, we need to bring Cisco back.
Well, he has.
Or they're forbidden.
If you remember, he has a second child with Cassie Yates.
Yeah.
They could actually do a storyline about that because he's with the Prophets right now, so he's actually part Prophet.
Right.
Well, I remember there was a lot of rumors. Remember, there's a lot of rumors when Picard season 3 came out that they, because they were bringing back so many people that they were going to have Cisco show up, and I was kind of hoping they would, although it would not have worked in that story. Like it had nothing to do with the Prophets or the wormhole or anything. So it would have been weird,
with the red eye stuff, they were actually everybody was speculating it's got something to do with the Pa Wraiths, but it ended up being.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? Maybe that's why there was all those rumors. I don't know. Oh, Quinn says they did bring Cisco back recently in the comics. They did. Was it a good story? I mean, did it work? I don't know. I don't read those comics, so I'm not sure, but
I say who had a production of those comics?
wasn't IDW doing Star Trek stuff for a while?
I'm just saying Cisco is probably one of the most not probably. He is one of the most loved captains of all of them. I
But
mean,
he's one of my
can tell.
favorites. Yeah.
I can tell he would be my
top
favorite
three
next
at
to
least.
Picard.
But
Yeah, I don't know. My captains so I've always loved Kirk. I always thought Kirk was awesome because, especially for that period of time in the Federation, right? Like he was the cowboy kind of captain, and the first one that we all knew and that kind of thing. He was the man of action and the man who would make decisions, not follow orders and that kind of stuff. I've always thought Kirk in all his many iterations, primarily obviously William Shatner, but he's been redone several times. I've always thought Kirk was awesome and one of my favorites. But recently, because of Discovery Season 2 and Strange New Worlds, I love Captain Pike. I'm blanking on the guy's name now. I'm blanking on the actor's name who plays Pike now and has for, the last few years in Star Trek. He's just great. He's amazing. He's absolutely shot up to the top of my list as one of the best or probably my favorite Star Trek captain. But before he came along, honestly, my favorite captain was Captain Archer from Enterprise. And even though that show itself, especially in season 3 with the Xindi, and the show was hit or miss. You know what I mean? The show was very hit or miss. But him as a character, him as a captain, absolutely fantastic. And I think getting Scott Bakula to play that part was just perfect. I think he was the perfect actor to play that captain. I think his character was all the best parts of all the captains that we have gotten since, because he was literally on the first true exploration vessel from Starfleet before there was even a Federation. You know what I mean? And they did that really well of building a character that you could believe he would be just as likely to negotiate a treaty as he would get into a fist fight. You know what I mean? And that he was equally good at both. And Scott Bakula nailed that character and gave us what I would say Pike's now tied with him for me, but they just made him what was my favorite captain, Star Trek captain of all time. He was the best of Picard mixed with the best of Kirk mixed with the best of Cisco. You know what I mean?
He was just trying to put back what once went wrong.
Exactly. There you go. It was great, man. I love Archer. Archer's fantastic. I just recently rewatched Enterprise last month, I think, because I hadn't watched it in a really long time, and I don't think when it was originally on TV, I never, especially when it got to the later 2 seasons, I kind of was watching it very sporadically. I wasn't watching every episode, and so I went back and binge watched the whole thing again. And despite the fact that season 3 with the Xindi is just there's some serious issues with that season, and despite the fact that they heavily leaned on as a crutch time travel way too much in that show, time travel was just constantly a thing in the background. You know what I mean? It was constantly a plot point that they would pull out of their ass every few episodes. Despite that, I still think it's a really good Star Trek show. I find it immensely enjoyable and very old school kind of Gene Roddenberry-esque Star Trek,
What sucks, it got canceled by the new director of CBS or whatever CW was, only because he hated Star Trek. It wasn't because it was doing poorly. He just hated Star Trek.
Yeah.
And we are getting an echo because someone else mentioned it in the chat.
Am I still?
Let me see. Are you getting echo now? Say something, Jared.
No echo now.
Okay.
Son of
Honda,
a
I think
No more
bitch.
echo.
Honda, do you
Fucking
have headphones?
bitch face. Damn it. Hold on.
Grab some headphones. Honda's been having some settings issues with his microphone. He was playing around with them today on Discord.
Yeah. The,
Anyway, yeah, I really like Enterprise. I really do love Strange New Worlds. It's been a fantastic show. Like it is, it is the closest thing we've had to Next Generation in 30 years. Like it really is. It's a fantastic show. Despite this latest episode being a complete cluster and crap show, like it really is a good show. I really love this show. I've liked all the episodes. I've liked all the characters. I've liked the storylines. This last episode was just such a big miss. It was a swing and a miss, man. Like hardcore. It was bad. It was hilariously bad. It was just so you're like, those episodes when you're actually like embarrassed to watch something. You're like feeling embarrassed for the actors and the character. Like I was embarrassed for Anson Mount as Pike having to sing to the view screen to a bunch of Klingons who then busted out in a Klingon rap. That's not a joke. That happened in this episode. It was
funny.
god awful. It was horrible. And there were Klingons behind the Klingon captain sitting in his seat on the view screen who was rapping, and there were Klingons in the background doing hip-hop dances with batleths. It was awful. It was fucking horrible, people. It was embarrassing to watch.
why were they having to sing? What happened in the episode to make that happen?
It was something where they found an anomaly, a subspace anomaly that they had they were trying to use it to see if they could that subspace anomaly. They were trying to use it to see if they could speed up subspace transmissions in that area of space. And so they were sending it signals trying to test it to see if it would work. And then one of the characters was like, oh, well, it doesn't seem to react to any signals we send to it. And one of them was like, well, why don't we send music into it? Maybe it's melodic. And so they beamed a musical signal into it. And then the subspace distortion ruptured open and they got caught in like, I believe they described it as like an alternate timeline where music was the way people communicated, just like in a musical. And so all of them, every time they would get emotional, would bust out singing just like in a musical. It was awful, people. It was really bad. It was really bad. It was embarrassing.
You know what would be, instead of like keep retelling tales of ships they're doing and they're basically overriding canon. It'd be really cool to do like stories of ships we didn't get to see stories of. Tell the tales of Enterprise B.
Yeah.
That would be.
Although Enterprise B didn't last long, did it? I think it had a very short lifespan, if I remember right, didn't it?
Let's see. I can look it up.
I think I remember reading something about Enterprise B that they didn't.
It 2293 and it served till 2344.
Oh wow, okay. Then I wonder which ship I was reading about.
The Excelsior's lost.
Was it the Excelsior maybe that I was thinking of? But it still had a long life before it was lost. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of another ship then. I must be thinking of another ship. So either that or I was reading some fan fiction somewhere about the Enterprise B and it's not actual canon. Who knows? But no, and you know what? I think that not Strange New Worlds. I'm blanking on everything right now because I'm talking about too much all at once. I think that Lower Decks has proven that it does not have to be the Enterprise. It does not have to be a ship of the line like the most well-known ships, the most well-known captains to still be able to do entertaining stories. Now, obviously, Lower Decks is very different, and it's an animated show that works in a lot of humor into it. So I understand that it's different, but I think it has proven that you can tell really good stories about characters who aren't the captain, aren't the first officer, aren't the the chief engineer or the main medical officer, that aren't the main people on a ship that's just a backwater nothing ship that doesn't ever really get involved in any of the big major important diplomatic missions or anything
Voyager
like that.
Yeah. Well, Voyager proved that too. Like we've had like 7
That's true. Voyager proved it because it was that type of ship and it was that type of crew, but then it got put into an extraordinary situation that made it more interesting. Like Lower Decks, they don't ever really get into like extraordinary situations, that really would kind of push a story. It's just good character-driven stories.
It'd be really cool to set something in a timeline right after the Dominion War. Have like one of these refitted ships, say like either like an Excelsior refit or early like Neo Constitution or something other ship and have them like patrolling after the war and how things have changed.
I would love to see, and maybe this is just something that would make for a good show. I don't know. I would love to see a period in time I'd love to see a show about the period in time right after, let's say just a handful of years after Voyager returned. And it's like, see a crew on a ship that is essentially like an NX class ship, not an NCC, but like, this is an experimental ship that's being sent on missions with all this new technology that came from the Borg, that came after the Dominion War, that came from when Voyager returned with all this different technology. And it's like the first ship that they're testing all this technology on, and see some stuff about that. Because we see a lot of it and you hear a lot about it. And if you read a lot of the, which I do, a lot of the, fiction online that comes from a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it is canon. They establish it as canon either by putting it in what's that one place, Alpha, what's that one website that keeps up with all the canon?
Alpha Canon.
Is it Alpha Canon? Is that what it's called? Anyway.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. And or by putting it through there and actually going with people who are working on these different shows, or a lot of the stuff that's gone into Star Trek Online, which a lot of that's considered canon because it's considered within the Star Trek universe to a point anyway.
And they start introducing the online ships, Star Trek Online ships, into Picard.
Yeah,
starting at season 2.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cool stuff there, and there's so much. There's so much that is talked about in Star Trek Online and so much that we saw in Star Trek Picard that comes from that very period of time when, after the Dominion War and after Voyager got back, Starfleet was making huge advances in all these new technologies that, things they had discovered from the Dominion War, things they had discovered from Voyager's return that made vast improvements on Starfleet's ships, the ablative armor and all this different stuff that they got. And we don't ever get to see that period of time, in Star Trek Online and Star Trek Picard. Like, we're seeing after, once all that stuff's been installed and once that's all just kind of mainstream and that's what they're going to. But like being able to see like the first ship that they were testing all this technology on and showing it going into missions and diplomacy and all this stuff, and seeing that crew who's field testing all this stuff for the first time on a Starfleet vessel. I think that would be cool, at least from a technical standpoint, because I'm one of those nerds that watches all these YouTube channels on YouTube where they just go over technical specs of Starfleet ships, and I like that stuff.
I'm guilty
Maybe
of
other
that too.
People wouldn't find it interesting. I don't know.
I'm guilty of that too. And one thing I always thought, if Star Trek Picard didn't just ruin the character and kill him off, because Egypt was going to be in Starfleet.
Yeah.
And his see where he's at in his career. He could, at the time period, he could have been either a commander or a captain.
Yeah.
But they decided to the Federation don't like ex-Borgs. We can't have those on here no more. And we got to kill the character off.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
Between Picard and Seven of Nine, like,
and
what would
probably
make
numerous other like other Federation members that's been
exactly, yeah.
deborgified.
I, by the way, hated how they killed Echep. The way that
I know, it was
they did
stupid.
him was so fucking
They-
dirty, dude.
They so screwed up a perfectly good character. I feel bad for the actor.
Yeah.
After that,
Well, they didn't even bring back the original actor to kill him off, and
yeah, it was bad. It was.
he's
really
old
bad.
enough where he could have played an adult Egypt at the time.
Yeah,
Basically, the time period Voyager's ended, it's been about the space between Picard and Voyager.
Another thing I did not like about Picard, and I feel like they eventually did the character justice in the third season, because I think they did all the characters justice in the third season. But one of the things about Picard season 1 and 2 was what the fuck happened to 6 of 9 and Chakotay's relationship? That was supposed to be this big deal, this huge love that was going to fucking last. That like, and if one of them died, it would like destroy the other, and like all this shit, right? Like, and all of a sudden, by the time we get to Picard, and it's like nobody even mentions Chakotay.
Oh, she was not even in Starfleet either at the time, and
Yeah,
because the Federation don't allow Borg, ex-Borg, and the
Akucha Moya came in and changed his mind.
I don't know.
the
That was those first two
Picard
seasons
season
were
1 and 2 was basically utter shit.
Yeah.
Didn't give a shit what came beforehand.
Which, by the way, there was story points in Picard season 1, not season 2. Season 2 was absolute dog shit. Season 1 had story points involving the Borg and the Romulans and AI that I thought were cool. However, they were wrapped up in a really, really crappy story and character development. However, like I would love to see more stories on the Borg and what's happened to Romulans after Romulus was destroyed, and how things might have changed with AI.
And the Romulans never had an issue with AI until Picard, because they actually they had their own AI like science teams. They said they would love to study data.
So it was just bad. It was bad.
All their ships run on AI.
You think
what's
with
their
all
entire
of the,
computer system is AI.
No.
You think with all of the art imitating science and science imitating art that we've seen come out of Star Trek in the past, that like things like AI, not just Star Trek. I mean, there's been all kinds of franchises that talk about AI being fucking like this terrible thing that's coming in the future, and it's going to like hurt humanity in unseen ways and blah, blah, blah. And here we are today, right now, not science fiction, just science, coming out with new forms of AI that can do all kinds of things. And like they're talking about in the near future, all the things that it's going to be able to do, like get rid of my job, get rid of like even like lawyers, like like normal like lawyers who just do like paperwork stuff. Like a fucking AI can do it way better than a lawyer ever could, or like way faster, way cheaper,
Yeah.
So in the near future, there's going to be like those type of problems. But is there like going to be like killer AI robots like Terminator style, or like what do you guys think? Is that like a possibility?
I say 100% yes. It's just a matter of whether or not that is something that is going to be controlled by humans or not. There is no doubt in my mind we will at some point develop weaponized AI, weaponized automation, we already are with drones and things like that. We will absolutely develop that. It's just a matter of, is it going to go the way of Terminator, where an AI takes control of all the automated drones to attack humans, or whether or not we just stay in control of all that stuff and we just use it to, I don't know.
AIs already have programmed biases put into them, because you can sit there, you can go to ChatGPT and ask it like, tell me a joke about Jesus, and it will tell you a joke about Jesus. You tell me a joke about Muhammad. It's like we should respect their religion. That's their answer.
Yeah,
it won't do a joke. It's in any other like what they call in quote sensitive topics. It won't reply.
Right, but
it will actually argue with you.
There's been like the AI that they have that talk back and forth with another AI, and then they the AIs make up their own language.
Their own language.
And start talking back and forth so that no one else can understand them. Like, yeah, sure, there's like limitations or whatever built into their automatic responses or whatever that comes out right now. But I'm saying, like, give it 5 years. Like, it's not going to be the same thing that we're dealing with.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's
about,
going to come down to
like,
whether or not we get smart enough, because it is inevitable we will create these things. If we get smart enough to do whatever is necessary to make sure those things can be kept in check, because they're not going to stop creating AI. They're not going to stop trying to automate war. These things are not going to stop. Governments are going to continue to push this. And again, it just comes down to, will we be smart enough to figure out ways to maintain control of it so that we don't have a Terminator situation happen to us?
Well, I mean, not even Terminator situation. Just think about like electrical engineers and all the engineers that have to like go into making a building, right? When they're like, let's design this like 30-story steel reinforced concrete high-rise building. Like hundreds of people are involved in like this aspect or that aspect of the design and the process. And, oh, how does this going to fit together? We got to go back to the drawing board and rethink this part. Like that kind of shit. You just be like, AI building this big, boom.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the design.
I think the example you used earlier was really good, because like with lawyers, right? Like lawyers are one of the things. I don't think lawyers themselves will ever go away, but imagine a lawyer having access to AI where he no longer needs anyone else. He doesn't need paralegals. He doesn't need secretaries. He doesn't need anybody, because there's an AI that a lawyer works with. He still goes to court. He still argues in front of a jury. He still talks to the judge. You still need a lawyer to do that. But think about every lawyer, and I've worked for law offices before, and an average lawyer requires at least even a small law office, 4 to 5 other staff members to maintain any level of organization and be able to get things done. Right? You go to some of these law offices where they have multiple lawyers. They got several associates working in one business, and they employ 16 to 24 people doing all the things. Well, if you've got AI, like, you don't need a paralegal. If you've got an AI that's perfectly trained in the paralegal arts, right, you don't need a team of paralegals working all your files up and all, working up all your caseloads and all that stuff. You don't need any of that stuff. You have one AI that can do all of that practically instantaneously, right? So if every lawyer out there, is responsible not only for his own job, but let's say 6 other people's jobs, that's 1/7 of all jobs that are all of a sudden wiped out in that particular vocation. Or 6/7. Sorry, there's only 1/7 of those jobs that are left, and that's the actual lawyer himself.
Like the argument's always been about like automation. How do you say that word?
Automation.
Okay, it's always been about automation, right? Like, the trucks are going to drive themselves. What are the truck drivers going to do? Oh, like everything's computer controlled. So like in the future, these people and those people aren't going to have jobs. But me, as an engineer, as a lawyer, as a creative, as a whatever, my job is safe. And what it turns out is a lot of those manual labor jobs are really hard to like.
They're way harder to automate.
Right. But when it comes to your intellectual property, yeah, we can make computers that fucking come up with better ideas than you do.
Yeah. It would be easier for AI to replace a diagnostician, a doctor, than it would be a welder.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I think that's something a lot of people don't consider. There are many. It would be way easier to replace a law firm with AI than it would an electrician. Way easier. You can program that stuff. You can develop an AI that can learn that skill and be able to accomplish the goals in that particular vocation way easier than you would ever be able to create and automate an AI to be an electrician or a plumber or a carpenter or an HVAC tech or a motorcycle mechanic, or many of those things are things that are far, far further down the line of ever being able to automate than a lot of these higher paying jobs today are. You know, replacing actual like hand skilled trades is way, way harder to automate in the real world. Now, in a lockdown setting, it's actually pretty easy. Like, for instance, car manufacturing, right? It was actually pretty easy to automate that. We did that decades ago. We started doing that a long time ago, automating car manufacturing or manufacturing in general. But when you're talking about trades like HVAC techs and electricians and welders and plumbers and carpenters and roofers and things like that, where you're not located in a controlled environment to perform that skill in that trade, it's very, very difficult to automate that. Very, very difficult. And they've tried. There are, like, for instance, there are AI controlled welding machines, right? That is something that they do, but it's done so rarely because it can only adapt to certain scenarios, mostly in a very controlled environment. So it's going to be really, really hard for AI to automate a lot of those, what today would just be considered low skill labor trades, which they're not. I think it takes a lot of skill to be a welder.
Oh,
if you've ever done it, it takes a lot of skill to be an electrician. I mean, there's some
Unless
of those
your
things
name
take
is
a lot of
Mr.
skill
F and
to do.
H.
The what?
Unless your name's Mr. F and H.
And then everything's just easy. Yes. But yeah, I mean, and like Quinn's saying, machines will never replace your friendly neighborhood comic shop owner. I hope not. Let's hope not.
Well, one thing too, though, it's like they're pushing over and over too. Talk about it's hard to replace these jobs. The corporations are pushing to make everything disposable, even cars. So,
yeah,
trying to phase those like any kind of repair jobs or anything like that out of existence as well.
Yeah.
Well, they don't learn the hard way when certain shit ain't fixed.
Well, certain vehicles now have non-serviceable transmissions. You have to replace it. You can't rebuild it. You have to replace the transmission.
Yep.
That's why one of the pushes with electric cars. Battery runs out.
Well, and a lot of this is being pushed by corporations too. We've seen this for years from Apple. Apple's probably the biggest company that's been doing this and been getting shit for this for a very long time. This whole idea of right to repair, right? You buy something and you have the right to repair it. You have the right to keep it in good working order. You have the right to do whatever you want to it because you bought it. Companies don't want that. Yep. Companies love the ability, and Apple's been the shining example of this. Companies love the ability of them to be able to create something that you can't mess with. And when it is time, or when they deem it is time for you to have to replace it, there's nothing you can do about it. And there's been legal battles all over the world fighting for right to repair.
Corporations want everything disposable. That's what pushed the whole plastics thing back in the 50s. When they used to make everything out of metal.
Go back further than that, it's the refrigerator manufacturers who got together in like the 1920s who were like, well, we keep building these refrigerators that don't break.
I thought it was light bulb.
It's called planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Well, they want you to essentially rent everything you have. They don't want you to really own anything. They want you to pay for it, and it is good for a certain period of time, and then you will have to pay to replace it. That's what they want.
Well,
because then they can keep manufacturing more.
A lot of plastic recycling thing is basically myth because a lot of plastics can't be recycled. It's more costly.
On average, out of all the plastic that is turned in to be recycled, only about 9% of it actually gets recycled. And that's not out of all plastics. That's just out of the amount of plastic that actually is turned in to be recycled. It's actually turned in to be recycled. Only about 9% of it actually gets recycled. So, yeah.
Oh, and back on Toy. I opened them up. This is a lot better figure than this.
It is. It really is. I mean,
the legs won't even go together. It's stuck in an A stance.
No, it is.
Mine's the head warped.
And here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about that figure. As many issues as it has, and it does, it's still the best Batman figure that McFarlane has put out, which is sad because with how much he loves to just give Batman slobby knobbies, because apparently he loves Batman more than anything, that is the best Batman figure we've gotten out of him.
What's sad, this is the best Superman he's got out of him because he thought it was Batman.
And that's only because he didn't know it was Superman. He thought that was just a version of Batman. Pretty interesting for a guy in the comics industry.
There's a new version of a super Batman. That's what he thought this was. And it actually
he didn't know the other one. I guarantee you he'd never read the Speeding Bullets storyline.
That's back
guaranteed, because I remember when that figure was getting announced, and there was a article that I had read that he had done an interview, and I don't remember if it was with Toy Arc or maybe it was with Whoosh or somebody like that. And he was given this whole other storyline that didn't have anything to do with Speeding Bullets, about Bruce Wayne and him getting powers, and I can't remember what it was. Was it the one where Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent got mixed into one person, or I can't remember what it was. He was, but I've read Speeding Bullets, and he was not giving the Speeding Bullets story. He was giving some other story where he clearly thought that character was Bruce Wayne, not Clark Kent. He clearly thought it was Bruce Wayne, and I'm like, that's not Speeding Bullets, like. And this is when he's announcing that the figure's coming out. Now, by the time the figure comes out, when you look on the package on the back, it says Speeding Bullets, and it gives the correct story. But obviously, he didn't know that when he was making that figure.
Mm-hmm. That is the best. I am tempted to buy an extra one of these to turn into Superman.
And it's ready to go. I mean, you could just you could swap the emblem out, do a paint job on him, do a head swap and a cape swap. You would have to swap the lower arms to get the standard hands, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of walked out on McFarlane right now. Although I did get my I won my contest for the SDCC thing. I haven't done a video on this guy yet. I need to do that, but I did get my SDCC exclusive Nightfall Batman. I hadn't even taken him out of the package yet. I took the plastic off because I wanted to look at him, but I haven't taken him out of the package yet.
It's the color scheme that we wanted.
It is the color. He's got the darker gray. He's got the black shading on the face and everything.
And he made it a damn exclusive.
Yeah, he made it an exclusive. I'll be honest. I'm just very surprised that I won. I just entered the contest for shiggles. Like, I didn't really, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was like, man, why not? Right? I got the email. I entered the contest. I was like, and then I won, and I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. And yeah, it's definitely a much better figure than the other one. But I mean, yeah, I gotta open this guy up and do a video on him.
Does your regular one have a warped head? Mine's got a warped head.
No. I mean, my regular one's fine. It's good. No warped head or anything like that. Well, he looks fine. But
it's a nice one.
Yeah, it's a solid Batman figure. It's not as good as... Well, I just did a video on this today, but it's not as good as this Nightfall Batman from DC Essentials. It's way better in every way.
Yep.
But like... It's a solid Batman figure.
It's a shame we didn't get more Essentials figures.
We should have. I've been picking up a few here and there. I mean, I think they only made, if you include the deceased line, they only made like 36 figures total. And I think I've got like 12 of them.
I wish they would have continued Icons.
Yeah,
Icons were at the end. They were upscaling them to closer to Marvel Legends size. And you bought the 7-pack.
Yeah, I got the 7-pack up there.
That best Wonder Woman figure we've ever gotten.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. But Yeah, no, I mean the icons. I'll probably pick more up. You know, I'm always looking for deals and stuff on
If
those
you can
figures.
find the Harley Quinn, best Harley Quinn figure ever made.
I've seen it. I can't remember what I've seen it online. I've seen it different prices and stuff. But
She goes up and down. Like you can sometimes you can see her for around about $30, and other times for like 50, 60.
yeah, there's the ones I want Firestorm because that thing just looks gorgeous.
I got it on my
The
just
Firestorm with the metallic paint looks gorgeous, and then same thing with Deathstroke, with the metallic paint on the pants and everything. The Deathstroke DC Icons figure; those two are probably the best looking DC Icons figures I've seen.
The Deathstroke. Did they make more than one? The first one
they might have. The one I've seen is in his more traditional costume. You know, he's got the big cuffed boots and the metallic legs and.
Okay. The first one they made is a true 1/12 scale, so he's kind of tiny.
Yeah. Well, like I guess they're not. They're all like 6 1/4, except for Wonder Woman, who's like 6.5 inches because she's taller than the rest of them. But out of that Justice League 7-pack I've got, they're all like around 6 1/4, give or take. But so they're not true.
Okay, he's good size. Deathstroke's actually bigger than Superman, Green Arrow, and Batman. So he's a little bigger. So he's good.
Yeah. But those are probably the two best ones I've seen in the DC Icons line that I want to pick up.
The Firestorm, I had to get that one because it looks so damn good.
Yeah. The other one I saw that looked really good, it was Deadman. The best Deadman figure I've ever seen was the DC Icons Deadman. That thing looked great. So those are three I definitely want to pick up because right now all I've got is that 7-pack. Those are the only DC Icons I've got is that 7-pack. But I want to get some more. But I'm gonna pick and choose. Some are more expensive than others.
Yeah.
So it just depends. And that's what happens. I mean, they haven't been made in 6 years now when they dropped DC Icons. It was about 6 years ago, I think. 2016, 2017, something like that.
Been a while. Then they had a couple of years of the DC Essentials. Then Warner Brothers pulled the plug on DC Collectibles when they gave Todd the license to make figures.
Which would be great because he has the ability to mass manufacture figures. He's just, I don't know. He's just weird. I don't know. I hit the thought process, but behind his making figures just doesn't make any sense to me. Just between bucks that he uses and sculpts that he uses and figure, like characters he picks. I don't like his, we've talked about this 100 times. I don't like the fact that he's, he releases substandard versions of characters first, knowing full well he's going to release the version that he knows people want. It's I don't know. I've since DC Multiverse has been with McFarlane, I've lost a lot of respect for McFarlane toys, which is sad. I mean, for a long time I would give McFarlane toys shit because, they were more focused on, sculpt over articulation, and I'd give them a little shit for that. But at least I could look at it and go, okay, well, no, you're making some great looking figures. They just don't really move. But like, okay, whatever. That's not a big gripe. That's just what they chose to do. Fine, that's what you chose to do. But the way they've handled the DC Multiverse line, and there's some really good figures out there. But I don't, in general, I don't like the way he's running things, honestly. It's very successful, though. I understand why, DC kept the license with him. He's selling a ton of figures. I mean, he is. So there's no doubt about it. I'm sure they're looking at the numbers and seeing that.
Well,
oh man,
he can get the distribution out there, and DC has a lot of popular characters, but nobody's making anything out there. You have no venue to get DC figures anywhere else.
Whose idea was it to make Ben Affleck fucking Batman? The fuck was that?
That was Warner Brothers. I don't know.
Zack Snyder.
That's fucking lame.
A lot of Zack Snyder's casting I didn't like. He did good with Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot. To me, Jason Momoa is wasted on Aquaman. He should have been Lobo. I said that from day one. now they're like
Superman's
rumoring he's
enemy
going.
on the bike from fucking
Yep.
space. Yeah, way better.
Actually, get him. Even though he's not Marvel, I got him on my Marvel shelf.
Ezra Miller was never a good Flash, even before we all knew he was
No.
psychotic.
I hated him from the get-go.
I will say though, and you don't really see this unless you watch the 4-hour director's cut of Justice League. I will say, and I'm blanking on his name, but the guy they got to play Cyborg was great.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen the 4-hour cut of Zack Snyder's Justice League on HBO Max, then you wouldn't know it from watching the Justice League movie. But in that 4-hour cut, he really is kind of the main character.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of, and
Yeah.
he does a great job. I thought after what, because I mean, just like everybody,
And
watching that original Joss Whedon version of Justice League, like, he does not stand out as a character at all in that movie. And, I just could not have cared less about Cyborg in that version of the movie. But when you watch what the actual like character development and story arc for his character in the full fleshed out version, oh, dude, he was great. He was great as Cyborg. I loved it. I thought he did a fantastic job.
In the Josh Whedon version of Justice League 2, the Flash is comedy relief. He's not an important character whatsoever.
No.
In the Snyder Cut, Superman would have never been brought back to life. Oh, they all died at the end, and he trailed back in time and reversed time.
Flash is a much more. I mean, I still think Ezra Miller was a horrible choice, but he's a much more significant.
He's a more important character in the Snyder Cut,
which he should have been. So, yeah, the Zack Snyder version is
Wonder Woman's
a
truly much more brutal too in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Well, and that movie, just that movie in and of itself, the Zack Snyder version of that movie is truly one of the greatest comic book movies of all time.
Yep.
It's fantastic. Like
it's on par with the Snyder Cut is on par like the same level like with the Watchmen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a phenomenal movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolutely phenomenal movie. So I got a super chat from Dom, says, check out my latest grabs in Discord. Let's see. What do you got there? Let me get Discord pulled up here. Give me a second. I'm assuming you're talking about Geek grabs, I believe. Let's see what we've got here. We've got Hazmat Batman. We've got is this Future's End Batman? Is that what that one's called? What is this Batman? Or is that no, that's not Future's End Bat. Is it? The one where he's covered up. It's not Bruce Wayne in the bat suit. It's what's that other character's name? I can't remember his name. But yeah.
It's not Lucius Fox. I think it's Lucius Fox's son.
His son, yeah, but I just don't remember his name. Wasn't he also Batwing for a while too?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got that version of Batman. We've got Falcon and Winter Soldier. Man, this thing right now is like $6 at Ollie's. It's actually a good figure. I like it.
Oh yeah.
That's a great figure. We got Gung Ho, which I've got a couple. That version of Gung Ho I've used for like 3 different customs. That's a good buck for a lot of different stuff.
Oh yeah.
And then we've got he picked up an old school Tron, or that's from the Tron Legacy. Oh, what scale is that? I wonder. I wonder if that would go with like 1/18 scale figures, because that's cool. I don't remember the scale they did figures of from Tron Legacy. Oh, that's Spin Master. I bet you that's the really small ones, though. What are they doing? 3-inch scale? Didn't Spin Master do a bunch of 3-inch scale stuff?
I don't know. I don't pick up Spin Master stuff. It's even got nobody even pulled the tab on it, so the battery is still intact.
Those light cycles are cool. I really really like Tron Legacy. I like everybody of my age grew up with the original Tron, and it was a visual feast when I was a kid. No doubt about it. It was great. I loved it. I had so much fun. with that movie as a kid. I have gone back and watched it as an adult, and it doesn't hold up as well. Still great for when it came out, but doesn't hold up as well. However, Tron Legacy has become something. I usually watch that movie about once a year since it has come out. It is a fantastic movie. It has some issues with the CGI used to make what's his face look younger. There's some issues there, but whatever. The story itself and like the characters in it, I absolutely love. And I know there's rumors they're making another one where like apparently Jared Leto's going to play that character, the same character that Garrett Hedlund played in the first one, which is Flynn's son. I'm not sure about that because I'll be honest with you, like Jared Leto is a real hit or miss actor for me.
Jared Leto is usually the kiss of death on a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah, he is. And I know he's like people like you always hear, I see, articles online every time Jared Leto does some new movie about how great of an actor he is. And like, I don't get it myself, to be honest with you. I think he's a far better musician than he is an actor. Like, I love 30 Seconds to Mars. I think his band is great. I think his acting skill leaves a lot to be desired. Like, he's done some cool stuff that I like him in, but like just in general, I don't think he's that great of an actor. So, I'm not sure how I feel about him going into Tron or whatever. But like, I mean, why the fuck don't you get Garrett Hedlund? He's still a well-known actor. Like, why can't he just play the role again? Because it's supposed to be the same character like 10 years after this story from Tron Legacy. The dude's still acting. Like, he's still out there. He's more well-known today than he was then. Like, I don't understand why you would just like not even have him be even considered for doing the role of playing the character he already played.
Unless he just don't want to do it.
Unless he does, but well, here's the thing though, because my understanding, all the stories I've read on this, is Jared Leto specifically picked this up and is producing this and getting this script written and everything because he wants to be in it. So I'm guessing maybe that's why, because I guess the stipulation is I'll help produce this and get it going and everything, but I want to be in it. I don't know. Maybe that's the only reason it's getting made. Because I know, unfortunately, I love Tron Legacy, but like it didn't do well at the movies. So maybe that's what it is.
I remember like seeing it in the movie theater, and I had to go get somebody because they start playing the wrong freaking movie.
Yeah, I saw it at the movies opening.
Like, there was hardly anybody in there. Then everybody was in there, like just sat there. It's like when the wrong movie started playing, it's like, this is the wrong movie. I had to go out and get them. It's like, hey, you're playing the wrong movie in Tron.
This is not. We didn't come here to see Pretty Woman 2. All right.
I think it was some kind of drama thing, girl drama thing too. It's like, this is not what Oh, I did pick up a Thalrog when it's cheap. Just get parts for customs.
Oh, what do you got there? Let me see.
The
Thalrog, yeah. I've got Thalrog.
He's only like $20 on Amazon right now plus tax.
I've got Balrog and Demona are the only two.
That's pretty cool.
The only two that I currently have. It's one of those lines that I love it. However, I have found from just having two, they are very difficult to display. They take up a lot of space because of their wings and their tail. And I have kind of decided, I've got those two, but I'm probably not going to collect anymore. It was not like a high priority for me. They're cool. I grew up watching gargoyles. They're very cool figures. They're doing
Demona and Goliath 2-pack when they're going to have both their open wings and folded down wings, so you can actually have room to display them.
They should have come with folded down wings the first time because it is very difficult to display.
Oh yeah, there's
very
no
difficult indeed.
The same exact price. They got the video game version of Goliath at Target right now. Mm-hmm. Comes with both sets of wings.
They should have done that from the beginning. Oh, Quinn says he's got Tron figures at his shop. Which ones do you have? Do you have the Diamond Select ones, or which ones do you have, Quinn? Because I know Diamond Select did some Tron figures a while back. Apparently, Spin Master did some too. I didn't know that, but like,
I got a Walgreens box too.
What did you get from Walgreens?
They were done in a clearance sale on the Marvel Legends exclusive.
Oh, that's right. You told me about that. Yeah, they had some of their exclusives. I didn't order anything, but I saw that.
I got an extra Quasar for parts.
All right. Which they were good prices too. They were like $12.
Yeah, 2 Moonstones.
Oh, Moonstone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I confused her with Dagger.
She's kind of similar looking to Dagger.
Practically the same thing looking.
But she actually has boobs. They put Dagger on a flatter than a fritter body.
Well.
And binary. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this binary in one of the Moonstones and make a proper binary, because this body they use for binary sucks.
Oh yeah. Binary is one I've almost picked that up a few times because I like the binary character.
And they said
mostly because of all her X-Men appearances back in the day. I used, when I was reading those, she was in X-Men, but yeah, I haven't picked her up yet.
But every version of Carol Danvers they've done on the Moonstone body, but then they do binary, which is the same character.
Yeah,
they put her on the skinny body. I was looking to see what they sent me for free.
Since we're already talking about it, I'm going to show what I've gotten this week. Why not? Here we go. For all you geeks out there, I picked up Shipwreck. Found him at Target. What's funny is I had him pre-ordered, and then at the last minute, I canceled the pre-order because I was like, man, I'm going to see if I can pick him up in the wild. I didn't know when he was going to ship or any of that stuff, so I was like, I'll see if I get lucky. I did. I got Shipwreck. And then I picked up these all at Target. I got the new Jessica Drew, which I did not intend to pick her up, but when you get there and you see her, they're like, all right, fine, whatever. So I picked Jessica Drew up, Spider-Woman. Of course, I got the Elektra as Daredevil. Picked that one up. Picked up Chasm. This was another one. I wasn't going to get Chasm originally. I did, I was like, it looks fine, whatever. But you get there and you see him and you're like, okay, cool. It's still kind of a cool figure. I don't know this character because this is from when I was not reading comics. Is this Ben Reilly?
Yes.
Is that what that is? Okay. So this is like Ben Reilly in a Venom suit? Or a different symbiote?
I have no idea what it is, but it is Ben Reilly.
It is Ben Reilly? Okay. And then I got Miles. This one I always intended to pick up. I like Miles. I think Miles is a great character. And then, of course, I picked up this Ben Reilly, which I'm going to do a review on this. I have heard every review so far I've seen on this figure, people are complaining about his head being too round and bulbous and the eyes too big. I think it looks pretty damn cool. So I don't know the character. I don't know the character, but I know his head sculpt looks cool. I don't know why. It looks very Eric Larson.
I think that's his costume after he was Chasm. He went back to being that costume.
Yeah, but people are complaining that his head is too round and the eyes are too big. And I'm like, okay, but it looks cool. Like, I don't know the character. I didn't read the comics when he had this suit. I just know that it looks cool. It's got, I'm telling you, and maybe that's my bias. It's got a very Eric Larson look to it.
Plus, it's on one of the better bodies too.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know what people are complaining about. I get it if it's not like comic
if you don't like
or something.
And I'm sorry if you don't like that head. How many Spider-Mans do we have?
Oh, a ton. Yeah, there's.
Can we not just? And they come with extra heads. Just swap the head.
Yeah.
Oh, also
I don't know.
From Chosen Prime.
I'm not gonna swap it because I like it. So, all right, what do you got?
I got
yeah.
Warthog.
Why am I blanking on his name?
Power Glide.
Power Glide. Thank you. I wanted to call him Warpath. I'm like, no, that's not Warpath. Thank you.
It's third-party name, so it's Warthog. 18 Warthog.
18 Warthog. Yeah.
And great-looking piece. And also got Shipwreck and Rock and Roll, but I already opened them up. And
I haven't picked up Rock and Roll yet.
Oh, I got this set.
Nice.
Scrap Iron and the Armored Drone.
I'm curious I'll be curious on your opinion on that, if it's worth the price hike just for that little drone.
I tell you what, it's a hefty box. That little drone, I think, is pretty substantial. It's got a lot of effects pieces.
I mean, it's definitely cool, but it's like $50, right?
I think so, something like that.
And like $49.99, you're paying basically double the price to get a drone.
I got Torpedo.
Yeah.
Plus, I got the Fortnite boats, so I can do a little display with that. Ollie's has got the Fortnite boats for $10. Or no, I'm sorry, $14.99. And I got Copperhead.
Nice.
And one last thing from Amazon. I got Shadow Weaver.
Have they ever done her figure before in any of the other the last couple lines that have come out?
They have. They've done her in both the classics and Filmation. But I didn't get the classics one. That was like one of those subscription only figures. Mm-hmm. The Filmation one I got, and it's all right, but I think this one's better. And the female versions of the Masterverse figures actually scale with classics, but the males don't really. They're too big, unless they're like a monster character. That's it right now.
Oh, Quinn says he has all the Avengers 60th anniversary stuff. I was looking at those. I like the Thor 2-pack with Thor, the Eric Masterson's Thor and the Destroyer. I like that one. I like the Doctor Doom Captain Marvel 2-pack because I like both those. I like that Secret Wars era Doctor Doom, and I want a good classic Monica Rambeau.
It is
Captain
a shame
Marvel.
They didn't give her like bicep swivels and double joint elbows. They gave her those weird wing arms.
I couldn't care less about the Hawkeye and his jet cycle.
The colors are so like undersaturated on that Hawkeye too.
Yeah, it's just I've got a Hawkeye. I'm very happy with the one I've got. I don't need his Sky Cycle or whatever that thing's called.
If it goes on clearance,
they did do the Bruce Banner and the Hulk 2-pack, but I was looking at it. I was like, they don't look good. Like
they picked one of the worst bodies for Bruce. Egghead, the body coming out. That character nobody gives a crap. It's a better looking Bruce Banner body than the one they put Bruce Banner on.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a cool 2-pack if the figures were good.
And they completely made an all new upper torso for the Hulk to take out muscle definition. He don't have like the striations in his pectorals no more. They look like a Nash cheek on his chest. He's got a butt.
What were the other ones they came out with? I have it. There was the
Super Scroll Queen 2-pack.
Super Scroll and Scroll Queen. I'll be honest, I don't care about that one. I want the Super Scroll from Diamond Select. That's the one I want.
Yeah.
Then there was didn't they do the West Coast Avengers, Black Knight, and Circe?
I got that one.
That one was cool.
But they suck.
They do? I wanted that one. I like Black Knight as I don't really care about Circe, but I do like the West Coast Avengers, and I like. Although were they a part of West Coast Avengers, or that was the new Avengers rebranding in the 90s? I can't remember which team they were on, but I like Black Knight. I'm a big Black Knight fan. So I kind of wanted to pick that one up. I'm trying to think. What were the other 60th anniversary ones they came out with? Was that it? I know they came out with that Adaptoid, which I don't care about the Super Adaptoid. I have the original Captain America that's based off of, and that's great for a modern take on Captain America. That is not what they should have used for a Super Adaptoid. I'm sorry. And the fact that thing sells for $60, oh hell no. It is nowhere near worth $60.
I'll wait and get it at Ollie's for $10-15.
That thing, first of all, it doesn't even look like Super Adaptoid to me at all because it's using all that modern sculpt for Captain America.
There's Cersei and Black Knight. Black Knight is on the same Bucky cap as it was on before. And you need to be careful with it. These legs are prone to break on the previous ones. And the one I had had burrs in it. I actually had heat and popped the legs off already and had to fix it because that thigh swivel didn't even work because there's so many molding issues. You only get one head in the previous version with 3 heads.
Yeah.
And they put lipstick on them.
Well, he's going out for a night on the town.
The only new tooling you get is basically the sword and the gloves on these cuffs. She is on that horrible skinny body. Didn't even use a top, even though they have molds that have the sculpted on top, like with the Enchantress and previous Scarlet Witch figure. Didn't use that mold. They use that really skinny one that has no molding for the clothing. And the head looks like, what's her name from Friends?
Courtney Cox. Yeah, I know.
It is a terrible figure. It's like anybody who is reviewing this, so, oh, this is a great figure. They're lying through their teeth and their shield for Hasbro. Didn't even put her headband on. That's like one of her key looks. When they could have just used a shriek.
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's some of those 60th anniversary stuff that I want and some that I don't. Oh, what was the other one? Was it the Moondragon and Drax?
Oh yeah. And
that one I wanted Drax. I didn't really care about Moondragon as far as it just didn't. It looked like an okay figure, but
they made Drax too small.
He's not very big.
They put him on the Caliban body, and he should be.
I like that it's that classic Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, and Drax. I wanted that version of Drax so bad, and they put him on the wrong body, and his colors are wrong. His purple is almost violet.
Yeah. I don't know. So if they're like half and half for me. There's half of those 60th anniversary ones that I want to pick up for one or both figures, and the other half I don't really care about. So it just depends. I wish you could mix them. I wish they were all single releases because there's some of those 2-packs that I would like one figure but not the other.
They could have just retooled some the Hulk body, which the KO people did, and gave them the Buccaneer boots and made a Juggernaut out of it. They could have just retooled this a little bit and made Drax out of it.
Yeah, and
made them the right size. No.
Which book did they use for him? Was it one they've already been using?
For Drax, it's the Caliban Build-A-Figure.
Caliban? Okay.
Or they could have just used the Hulk body and made new legs, which they made new legs for the Drax.
I don't know.
Moondragon is a weird modern costume, and the way they sculpted the cleavage window too, it's there's a flat shelf at the boobs just stop, and it's like a flat shelf. It's weird.
I mean, she might have body issues. I don't know. Don't judge her.
It's like they've encased.
You're just a flat shelf boob bigot, Jared. That's what it is.
Well, it's like she's buried partially in concrete, and then it hardened up around her.
Yeah.
They just chiseled up.
All right, I do want to talk about something here. I want your opinion on this, Jared, because I've been arguing with people in some of the McFarlane groups on Facebook, and I'm convinced I'm right. Well, at least partially, anyway. On this right here,
I think a lot of people in the McFarlane groups would suck his dick if he was in front of them.
You cannot tell me that is not a Ben Affleck head sculpt.
As soon as you said that, I saw it.
I've been arguing with people on these McFarlane groups, and they're like, "Oh no, that's not Ben Affleck. That looks more like Carson Daly." And I'm like, "Did none of y'all remember that Ben Affleck played George Reeves about 10 years ago in a movie?" No. I was like, "Dude, that is totally That is totally the inspiration for this head sculpt.
Well, they
That
have
is
already
Ben
have the license rights for Ben Affleck.
Yes. Direct from Warner Brothers, which is where this license, like I was, and I mentioned this on the I don't remember, one or two of the forums. People were like, no, you don't read comics. That's a classic 60s Superman look. I was like, bitch, I have read all the 60s Superman comics. I grew up reading them.
Oh,
Thank you very much. And that don't look anything like Superman from the 60s. It looks like Ben Affleck,
well,
which I'm fine with, by the way. I'm fine with it looking like Ben Affleck because it makes sense. He played George Reeves in Hollywoodland.
Mm-hmm.
They already have likeness rights to Ben Affleck. It makes sense that you would put a Batman 66 era, 60s era, sculpt on it, because it would be a lot easier to get those rights and use that head sculpt than it would to try and get George Reeves' head sculpt, which would have made more sense for a Batman 66 line. But I get it. That is totally Ben Affleck. It is not a perfect Ben Affleck license or likeness.
George Reeves' family would have to sign off on it, and who knows if they would.
Yeah. They made it, if they made it very Ben Affleck-esque. There is no doubt about that being very close to Ben Affleck's face. Yep. Which, again, I think is fine because he technically has played the character.
What throws it off, too, from looking like Ben Affleck more, too, I don't know, they don't know if they're using similar, like, factories to Hasbro right now. They've switched to the really lipstick-looking color lips.
Well, and what's funny about it is, if you've ever watched Hollywoodland, and I think this was because it was the character and also because Ben Affleck at the time was a raging alcoholic. If you've ever watched that movie, he had very flush cheeks and lips. And he was playing an alcoholic George Reeves at the time he was actually an alcoholic in real life. And this has the freaking done-up cheeks and the lips. You can see the cheeks and the lips and everything here. And this is done up exactly like Ben Affleck looked in that damn movie.
Oh, yeah.
I
totally see it.
And I said that in a couple of McFarlane forums on Facebook, and people lost their shit. You're so wrong. And I'm just like, dude, okay. I didn't know it would trigger people that bad. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing.
They got triggered, too, for the fact, like, when McFarlane screwed up and didn't paint the boots on the first appearance of Superman. I was like, you just don't read the comics inside the comic. His boots are blue. But on the card, he actually comes with the figure, and on the cover of the book, his boots are red. And the only reason it's not always red in the comics, it was from 1930s.
Yeah, it was budget related, and the fact that it was one of the very first comic books, like, it was supposed to be red. The boots were supposed to be red. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's just, and again, and I don't know, like with this one in particular, I don't know why people got offended that I mentioned that it looks like Ben Affleck. And then I'm fairly certain it is supposed to look like Ben Affleck because they got all mad about it. And I'm like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just was seeing a lot of posts, people going, what's this head sculpt supposed to be? It looks like Carson Daly. And I'm like, no, it clearly looks like Ben Affleck. And it makes sense why he would make it look like Ben Affleck, and people just like, it just, I don't know. It was freaking weird, man. I'm like, all right, dude, y'all getting triggered because I dared to say something that, again.
I've actually dropped a couple of those McFarlane groups because they're just so weird.
Well, it's weird. It's like I was insulting Todd McFarlane by saying that. I don't think I am. I don't have a problem with it looking like Ben Affleck. I actually like the movie Hollywoodland. I think it's a good movie. I think Ben Affleck played a good George Reeves. I wasn't saying it
that
to
was such a good scene too, with that little boy with the gun. It was based on a true story.
Oh yeah. I wasn't saying it to insult anyone. It's just I see all these questions. People, and that's what's funny about it is people were actively bitching about the head sculpt, saying it looked stupid and it looked like Carson Daly and this and that. And what was Todd McFarlane thinking? And then when I tried to explain, well, like, hey, this is what I think he was doing because it looks like Ben Affleck from Hollywoodland, people acted like I was insulting him. I'm like, y'all just sit here and trashed him for a whole thread for making the head look like something you didn't understand. And then when I explain it to you in a way that makes sense, you get mad like I'm the one bitching at him. Those McFarlane groups are fucking weird, man. I swear they live on Todd's taint.
Yep.
It's a weird place to be.
I would hate to see him show up in where there's a group of them at, and they'd molest them.
Mm-hmm. I'd be fearful if I was him of hanging around McFarlane groupies. It'd be weird, man. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm not into this line, honestly. I don't know. It's cool. I mean, I've almost picked up Batman and Robin before when they first came out, and then I was just like, eh.
What sucks though, the T jointed hips.
Yeah. Well, and that's the articulation is why I've never picked them up. That's exactly why I don't buy this line.
I don't understand what the issue is adding the extra articulation in.
I don't either. I think if you even at this, what is this, 5-inch scale?
I think you just don't add the articulation in at that scale. It's like, well, we can't put articulation in that scale. That's the limit.
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly what scale it is. It's between 5 and 6 inch or something like that. I can't remember, but like I would buy them if they had better articulation, because I think getting like some good articulated Adam West Batman figures would be awesome.
Yeah, I
would totally buy a Ben Affleck as Superman, George Reeves version, if it had good articulation. I would totally buy that. All the like Cesar Romero Joker and fucking like, is it Cesar Romero, right?
Cesar Romero.
Yes.
Joker, yeah.
Yeah, Cesar Romero, right? I feel like I was saying the wrong name for a second there. Anyway.
So I love when Mattel did the 66 Batman figures, and when they made Cesar Romero's Joker, he still has mustache.
Yeah, exactly. They did great on that. Like, I think the figures are cool. The only reason I'll pick them up is I want more articulation. Duke, are you eating?
No, baby, I just jumped in.
Okay. I just heard some noise coming from you. It sounded like you were eating or something.
No, I'm in my car. We went to a car.
Car noise. I got you.
Driving home.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Because I do like, it would be cool to have these figures. I would buy these. I just don't want the simplistic articulation and like the T-hip. I would even go with like, because the elbows, I mean, they're basically like Star Wars Black Series. They got the single joint in the rotation. If these had better hips and double jointed knees, I would buy these.
Yep.
But they don't. So I don't know. It just hasn't been a line I've been interested in because of that. But they are putting out some cool. I love this fucking. I may still buy this robot. Actually, I'm gonna be honest. Even with the I may buy that Bat robot. That's just fucking cool looking.
It's goofy enough where it's cool.
Yes. That would look great with my DC icons. Sit next to my DC icons or something. That's a cool one. That one may be the exception that I go ahead and get because that just looks cool. It's insane and ridiculous and very 60s. And, you know, it looks like Batman's trying to be Mark I Iron Man, which is great. I love it. This one I may pick up. So that's pretty cool. But he dropped a bunch of these new ones. What do we got? I don't know who this character is. Do you?
Nope.
I don't have a clue. I watched every episode of Batman back in the day. I grew up on it. I don't remember this character from the show. I don't know if he's supposed to be from the show or where he's from. Did I miss that episode multiple times? I don't know. It's a cool skeleton figure, which tells me a lot of, because there are a lot of collectors out there that love their skeleton figures. We know one of them. So this one's going to sell. People are going to buy this. I know it's not really a skeleton figure, but it's like close enough that like
it's
people
a
are
Wish.com
going
version of Skeletor.
Yeah, basically it is. Yes, it's a Wish.com version of Skeletor. This figure I think will do well. Even people who don't collect this line are going to pick this up just because it's kind of cool. And then we got our new Joker figure. What's funny is I remember this from something, but I don't remember what I remember it from. Is this from a specific like in my mind, I remember seeing Cesar Romero in a do-up like this. but I cannot picture where this is from. I feel like this was like from a commercial or something, not from the actual show, or like a promotional ad or something, but not one of the actual episodes. I don't remember. If anybody out there in the chat knows like what this is from, when Cesar Romero dressed up in this getup as Joker, I would love to know, because I look at this and I'm like, I have this vague memory of seeing Cesar Romero done up like this, but I can't put my finger on like a specific episode or anything.
Well, that's when Joker was bitten by a bumblebee,
radioactive bug.
like yeah, exactly. Like Spider-Man.
I don't know.
Spider, but
I mean, I have vivid memories of this, but I can't. Like,
No,
look,
I
there's even a
remember it
picture
too.
of Cesar Romero in the getup here. I'm assuming that's real, but I'm hard pressed to remember a specific episode or anything that's from. So, but
Keep
cool
hearing all
line.
this Mike cracking me up.
Oh, yeah, it's a cool line, man. I definitely want to get the Bat Robot, even if I don't collect anything else out of this line. That Bat Robot looks cool.
Oh, did you see that High Toys is doing 4-inch scale Star Trek from the 2009 movie?
Yes, I did. Got it pulled up here.
No,
you can use that Batman robot one and customize it any way you want, especially if you like Lost in Space. You can make it like the robot from it.
Yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff with it. I did see these. I'll be honest. When it comes to like 3 3/4 to 4-inch scale figures, I don't just collect anything. It's primary. In fact, it's only G.I. Joe and Star Wars. That's it. That's the only two things I collect. I have been tempted a few times, specifically from High Toys, with like some of the Judge Dredd stuff. And I'm tempted with these. I don't know if I will actually pick any of these up, because I really don't. You know what I mean? Like,
as much hate as like these movies get sometimes, I like them better than the new series.
Dude, I love those 3 movies.
Yeah,
I unapologetically love. Now, I'm not saying they
did Spock so much better in that series than like the TV series stuff. That actor, no offense to the actor, and a lot of it's the writing. He don't fit Spock.
Yeah,
the guy that what's his name that did Spock in these movies here, he did an excellent job as Spock.
He did. He really did.
What happened? What happened to those movies, man?
What happened to them?
Like what? That should have gone on. We should have got 3 more movies.
It should have. They even had a script for the 4th one that was going to be kind of a time travel epic where they were going to bring back Chris Hemsworth, where they were going to end up going back in time and seeing Kirk's dad again, who was played by Chris Hemsworth. And those movies should have kept going. And look, those movies aren't perfect or anything. And I certainly understand the people who are like hardcore Roddenberry traditionalists who watch those movies and say, "Oh, it feels more like an action movie than a Roddenberry, sci-fi." And I get that, but those movies are still a lot of fun. I still watch those movies, all 3 of them, all the time.
The issue with what happened with the movies is during that time there was the big shakeup fight for the rights between Paramount and CBS when they were still separate entities. There was a issue there, and that's what killed the 4th movie.
And I like them. I think they were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My favorite one's the 3rd one, Star Trek Beyond. I love that fucking movie. And I really wish that series would have went on. I loved everybody that they cast as the main characters. I thought they all did a fantastic job.
Just sucks to you if they ever did another one that the actor that played Chekhov got killed in an accident.
Yeah,
it sucks for the family, definitely, but he did such a good job too.
Yeah, I like that actor that played Chekhov. I can't remember his name, but he played in another movie where it was kind of like a Constantine type movie where he saw.
Oh, I love that movie. That's
creatures. I can't remember the name.
I read that book series. Why am I blanking on the name? That Odd Thomas. Odd Thomas.
Yeah, that was a
that
damn good movie.
That was a book series that I've read. The book series back in the 2000s. They did several books. That should have been a franchise of movies. That first movie was phenomenal.
It was,
and he played that role so perfectly.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, it just didn't make a lot of money, so they never made another one. But yeah, Odd Thomas is a series of books about that character who can, like, you know, see dead people and stuff like that. And
those creatures
it's fantastic. Yeah, it's fantastic. But no, that actor, and I'm blanking on his name at the moment, was really good. Like, I've seen him. I mean, the main things I remember him from is, like, he was in the one Terminator movie. He was in Odd Thomas. He was in Green Room, and he was in the Star Trek franchise. Like, those are the main things I remember him from. But he's been good in everything that I ever saw him in.
Oh yeah,
he was great.
Definitely.
I thought he did great as the young Kyle Reese. Gosh.
And if y'all haven't seen Odd Thomas, I highly recommend everyone go out and watch
Odd
that
Thomas is
movie.
a fantastic movie.
Yes,
It's
that is
absolutely
great.
fantastic movie. I
I
highly
wish we-
recommend it.
I wish we could have got a sequel to Salvation. I thought that was
I thought the outside of Terminator 1 and 2, that is the best Terminator movie we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And definitely deserves to be at least a 3-movie franchise.
Yes.
absolutely.
Where that movie should have ended with the beginning of Terminator 1, with him sending Kyle Reese back in time.
Yep.
Yes.
That's where the third movie should have ended. We should have got a full trilogy of movies with Christian Bale as John Connor, and then the very end of the last movie, the third movie, is him sending Kyle Reese back in time.
Yes.
That's what we should have gotten. It would have been fucking phenomenal.
Oh, I forgot he was in the Fright Night remake.
Oh yeah, he was in that too, which was great. I love that.
But
I like that
Don brought it
remake.
up in the chat.
I love the original Fright Night. I actually like the remake better.
Anton Yelchin is his name.
Anton Yelchin.
Yelchin
Yes.
or whatever.
Thank you, Dom. I see your comment out there in the chat.
Well, it was. It was. It's not in.
Yeah, these figures are cool though. I like them. I don't know that I'll be picking them up, just because I don't collect. First of all, I don't collect any.
Well, they look like they got
Trek
ab
figures.
crunches. If you go back to the articulation scheme,
Yeah, they've got ab crunches under the shirt. Yeah,
well, that's cool.
so it's probably a soft plastic or rubber material for the shirt. So you've got some ab crunch that's actually covered. Hasbro and McFarlane should take cues from this.
I don't know, like that. Miles,
Especially that this figure with Miles here, like, I haven't taken him out of the package yet, but I've seen enough pictures of him online. He has no ab crunch basically there because of that. But yeah, these are cool figures. I do like the figures. I don't really collect that scale. If these were 6-inch scale figures, I would definitely pick them up. So I would definitely pick them up if they were 6-inch scale figures. But at 4-inch scale, I don't know. We'll see. I've got my GI Joes and my Star Wars, 3 3/4-inch, 4-inch scale figures over there. I love them. Huge fan. But those are really the only 2 brands or franchises that I like in that scale, and that's primarily because that's what I had as a kid, of those franchises, right? Like, that's the size I prefer in GI Joe and Star Wars. And I have 6-inch scale Star Wars and GI Joe over here, but I don't have nearly as many of those as I have of my 3 3/4 to 4-inch scale stuff. I have way more of that because I like that better for those. The Star Trek is, first of all, there hasn't been a lot of Star Trek action figures. We had some Mego. We had late 90s or late 2000 or no, excuse me, late 80s. We had those Galoob figures for TNG. And then of course the most famous line was probably Playmates in the 90s, which I know they recently brought back. But to be honest, because I actually thought about picking some of those up, and I looked at them compared to the Playmates figures from the 90s, and the Playmates figures from the 90s are better. And not only that, but the Playmates figures from the 90s don't really hold a high value. You can still pick them up new in package relatively cheap for like 15 to 20 bucks a figure. So I don't know why anybody would buy the new ones, to be honest. The ones from the 90s are better figures.
A lot of times too, when they repop like new figures from old molds, they're using cheaper plastic nowadays.
Well, that's the thing. They're not new. They're not old molds. I've seen videos comparing like the old Picard with the new Picard, the old Kirk with the new Kirk, the old Data with the new Data. They are different molds. They're in the same style, but they're different molds.
Like
and I will say that the newer ones, I guess, look a little more, what's the term, realistic, in the sense that, like, you know how the old Playmates figures kind of stood a little bit more out.
Better paint technology nowadays.
Yeah, like they looked a little more modern, but the Playmates figures look better. Like they just in general look better. So I would not collect the new ones, honestly. The older ones are still very easy to get. You can find them on eBay cheap all the time. They don't hold a high value. So if that's something you want, like, you can get those.
The reissues of the Beast Wars Transformers, they've changed the molds up. The plastic's cheaper and thinner, and they're not as nice figures as the ones from in the mid '90s.
And we've talked about this before. I'm not big into Transformers. It's just not a line I collect. But if I was going to collect anything, it would be Beast Wars stuff, and it would not be new shit. It would specifically be the stuff from the '90s. If I was going to go and pick up any line of Transformers, that's what I would pick up.
I tell you right now, though, I have been very impressed with the new show accurate Beast Wars figures.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they just come off the screen. To me, I would recommend those over the older stuff if you just want to show characters. You had a much more array of different types of characters to choose from back in the '90s, but these new, like, show accurate Beast Wars characters, they're nailing them. They're in scale really well, like what the show was.
Man, where were you at though? Because, like, for me, growing up, you could get like 2 Joes for 1 Transformer, so I always went for the 2 Joes.
Oh yeah, I did when in the '80s when Transformers first came out. I mean, I had a healthy collection of them, but I had far more GI Joes, far more Star Wars than I did of Transformers. And part of it was, and I've explained this before, like, as a kid, it was much easier for me to identify with Flint or Han Solo than it was Optimus Prime, because they were human characters.
Right.
You know, I enjoyed playing with G.I. Joes and Star Wars more than I did Transformers. While I had plenty of Transformers and they were cool toys, I when it came to, like, as a kid playing with toys and going on little adventures and shit outside with my friends and digging holes for, like, Star Wars spaceships to crash in or whatever it was, like, I preferred those toy lines better than I did Transformers. So yeah, I mean, I think we were all kids. We all had Transformers. I mean, it's inevitable. We all had Transformers, whether that was your favorite line or not. And I like Transformers. I love the Transformers series as a kid. I love the original Transformers movie. Beast Wars is one of my favorite cartoons of all time. I love Transformers. It's just not a toy line I'm particularly into collecting.
Yeah, Beast Wars had some of the best character development of any Transformers.
Oh, absolutely. It was, and I think to this day, it is, for me anyway, the best characters and best story arcs of any Transformers series ever. Now, I haven't seen all of them. There's some of the Japanese ones that I never watched that got imported as, like, Transformers Energon and shit like that I've never watched. But, like, you know, I loved Beast Wars. Never really got into the toy line because, well, then at that time, you know, by the time Beast Wars came out, I was like 19 years old. You know, so I didn't really get into the toy line because I wasn't a kid at that time, and I wasn't adult collecting yet. Although that's not true. I did pick up a Cheetor and an Optimal Optimus when that show was out. I did buy those, actually. I had that Optimal Optimus for a long time. That fucking thing is a badass toy, by the way.
Still is.
Even if you don't collect Transformers, that Optimal Optimus,
the only thing it was
99 or 98 or whenever it came out, was awesome.
The only thing that would have made that figure better if they had some kind of thigh swivel in it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it was perfect.
Yeah, great toy. But
Can
no,
I
I don't know.
change
For
the-
whatever reason, when it came to collecting toys and stuff as an adult, I just haven't gotten into Transformers. So
I put a couple links in the private chat for some the new Transformers stuff, like Beast Wars stuff that's coming out, and that missing link G1 Optimus Prime that's got articulation.
let's see what we got here.
So,
Can I change the topic briefly, and then we can come back to the Transformer stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard about Yellowstone?
That
How
they stopped
CBS
filming?
Well, now that Yellowstone CBS obtained rights where they're going to start airing it on CBS now, starting with
Oh,
season
no,
1.
I haven't. I mean, it makes sense. You know, them and Paramount are the same company, essentially.
They just have to
Sort
like
of.
cut out some stuff.
But no, from the article I was just reading, it's set to come back in November.
I had heard that there was filming delays because all this strike stuff.
Nothing is coming back for a very long time. The strike will not end soon. And because of the strike is not only the writers and the actors, we're not going to get anything for a long time. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big deal.
Well,
this is going to drain them.
So basically,
may be
anything
right.
that wasn't finished before this strike is getting inevitably delayed
Well,
for
even
who knows how long.
Even I would say it's even questionable if it's done, because like who's going to work on it? And
Yeah.
that's even like a
Yeah, there's not going to be
subject.
no reshoots. You know,
Yeah.
none of that stuff. If it was not done, we're not gonna get it anytime soon.
Yeah, because those actors, when you watch the videos, they're going to other sets that are doing things and like picketing. And when they create a line, the union trucks can't cross it.
And y'all may be right. I had an article pop up on my phone notification wise, and it was talking about Yellowstone going to CBS, and that Tyler Sheridan said that it's coming back in November. So
Well, it makes
I don't
sense
know.
too, though, if they're going to keep their TV channels going, take streaming only content and put it on TV.
And they can too, right? They've got 4.5 seasons of Yellowstone, right?
You just won't see best
So-
titties, but
Yeah. Oh, they just got to make a few clips. I mean, overall, there's not a lot on there that you couldn't put on CBS. There's the F words you'd have to get rid of,
yeah.
and there's a couple of titty scenes, but overall, you could play almost everything.
Like when
on
Beth
CBS.
stripped naked and went and took a bath in the fucking horse trough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you can see,
So-
like the robot modes and stuff like that, it looks amazing on these new Beast Wars figures.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going there. I click on the picture to blow up the picture, and it's just
So you
not taking me.
right click and open it in a new window.
I want to like. It's just taking me to the.
Well, when you click on the picture to blow it up, in the center of the picture, and now open a new tab. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to get a
Eduardo
good.
said he's never seen Yellowstone. Well, shame on you.
That's that. What? I'm embarrassed for you, Eduardo. I am just embarrassed at this point. Like if Duke told me right now he's never watched Yellowstone, I would have to question my friendship with him.
I've never seen Yellowstone.
God damn it, Duke.
You're fired, Duke. You're fired.
You know, I was going to promote your channel just from now on, but, I don't know if I can do that anymore.
We gotta have an internet feud now. I hate Never Enough Ammo.
Well, we should. That gets lots of views.
Oh, I'm definitely making a video about how much I hate you. I'm definitely doing it.
You should.
Yes, and how much
you totally should.
You don't know anything about Escape from New York. I'm definitely doing it tonight.
Yeah.
Are you gonna have your camera pointed at the ceiling fan when you do it?
I'm gonna do something wild. I got him.
All right. Well, I mean, Escape from LA is better than Escape from New York, so
No,
I mean,
Escape from New York is the far superior.
it's okay that you're both wrong. It's okay. One word for you here. One word. Bruce Campbell. That is one word because that's a name. Bruce Campbell is in Escape from LA.
He plays basketball to save his life. That's so stupid.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Damn right he does, and it's awesome. He trained for weeks to make that shot in real life. That's really Kurt Russell making that shot. Let's give a round of applause to Escape from LA, being the best of the Escape movies. Come on.
Boo. Boo.
Anyway. Oh, Duke, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
So you fell asleep on the show last night before I could talk to you about our new idea for a new action figure. And so I've been waiting for you to show up so I could talk to you about this. So me and Dom in the chat had an idea for a Joe Schmo action figure called Shithead. And he comes with sound effects where when you either sit him down or lay him down, he starts snoring. And then when you sit him back up, he just yells, "Daryl Dixon!"
Daryl Dixon. Got it.
And it works. It works. We're going to make this happen somehow. I'm going to have to make another Shithead figure. But, you know.
Hey, maybe we could contact Ramen Toys. We work with him to develop the
Ramen Toys make a great one, yeah. We just got to get I got to figure out how to get the sound effects in the figure though. So, I don't know. We'll figure that out.
We can use we can shrink down the electronics they're putting in the charger.
Yeah, exactly. I just need a snoring and Duke yelling Daryl Dixon. That's all I need. Just those two sound effects is all you need. It just needs to be motion activated. When you lay him down, he snores. When you sit him up, he yells Daryl Dixon. That's it. That's all you need. So, anyway.
You got it. We're definitely having an internet feud, though.
I'm down for this. I'm absolutely down for this. This is great. If we do have an internet feud, do you understand how many crayon jokes are going to be in my video?
I can't wait.
This is lovely. I love this.
But this is the Japanese versions, like the character figures, but they actually have U.S. releases.
Yeah, I love this one right here. That's awesome.
Dinobot. I bought two of that version, and Target had a toy color because Dinobot was my favorite character from Beast Wars.
Oh, he's the best character. Like his character arc is amazing in that show.
Oh yeah. I am really excited over that Prime. And guess what else I saw a leaked image of? The Optimus Prime. It's like the G1 toy that's articulated like a modern figure.
Mm-hmm.
That's all Megatron.
Ooh. Now, these aren't the ones that transform, are they?
Oh,
these are the ones that they do transform. Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a line, and maybe you remember what it was. There was a line in the early 90s of like, I want to say 4 to 5 inch scale Transformers action figures that didn't transform, but they looked awesome. They were just always in robot mode. And I think they were only 7 POA, if I remember right. I can't remember.
I still have
they weren't very articulated, but they looked great because, you know, they didn't transform. So they just looked like the characters on the cartoon, right?
Yeah.
And I did collect that line in the early 90s. I thought it was fantastic. And I would love to see a larger scale of that, and of just like, because I'm more I like the robot modes better than the vehicle modes, you know.
Oh,
so I would if they came out with like a modern 6, 7, 10 inch line, whatever, of like just non-transforming, really well done robot modes, I would be very tempted to start picking up that line.
I was hoping the Red series was going to be that way, but.
Mm-hmm.
Then they ended up dropping the ball because they made the first few figures. They were really cool. Then they changed art styles, and nothing's going to be in scale. Bumblebee is the same height as Megatron, and Optimus.
They got to do like Bumblebee.
With Bumblebee stocky
like,
proportions, making him the same size as Prime and Megatron.
No.
Bumblebee looks like he'd rip both of them in half.
No, what they need to do is they need to do a scaled line where like Bumblebee is like a 4-inch figure, and Optimus Prime and Megatron are like 8-inch figures, and then you get a variety in between of different characters.
I'm right with you. I've been wanting that for years. I even thought it'd be really cool if you could actually work in like baths, do like combiners. You one of them, they'd come like pieces of a combiner limb.
Yeah, if you had like a bunch of 3 to 4-inch figures, smaller figures, and actually combine them, and you get like a 12 to 16-inch figure or something.
Yeah,
like
do the mini bots, and each of the mini bots comes with a piece of Devastator.
Yeah, it would be cool. I would, I'd be much more likely to buy stuff like that than just standard Transformers. But
the Reds line is like it was a Walmart exclusive line, and they just dropped the ball on that. They were doing lines. They start making it feel like we're Beast Wars characters, Transformers Prime characters, movie characters, and they're all the same size. So it's like, why would I collect this?
Yeah. What else do we got? Oh, we get more trash.
Oh, yay.
Yay, more Jokerized crap. The only good Jokerized figure was the Jokerized Heath Ledger Joker. The only good one. Only good one.
I am super excited about that Optimus, though.
I cannot afford Storm Collectibles stuff.
They are very expensive.
But this is cool.
But I'm sure we know somebody's probably going to buy this.
Yes, we do. This is a very cool figure, though.
Oh, it's even got arrows.
It's got arrows all in the bag. He's all chewed up. We got some guts, some intestines hanging down here. This is a cool skeleton figure. I like this. This is sweet. I won't buy it because I guarantee you, too damn expensive. Let's see. What's is there MSRP on here? It doesn't
Storm.
say.
It's going to be expensive, and it's going to be a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive.
Yeah.
Because
it's
Big Bad's the only distributor of Storm now.
Oh, they are?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Storm is a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive now.
Well, good for them, I guess. Plenty of people do buy them. I don't, but a lot of people do. I saw this. I thought of you. The new SH Figure Arts Mecha Frieza.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool figure. I got to admit. I will say that the Frieza figure, as I had fourth form Frieza, and then I ended up selling the whole collection.
Yeah, you can't call them Final Form anymore.
Yeah. It for what it costs, like this should be a pack in with another character because the Frieza figure's like that damn big. He's not tiny. Big at all.
At one time when it was Final Form Frieza, that thing was selling for over $200.
Oh yeah.
On the secondary
like
market.
he's the size of freaking Spider Ham.
I got him sitting right over here on the Dragon Ball shelf.
Yeah. He's not a big figure. Like it's a cool figure, the one I had, and this one's no doubt cooler. I love the,
No, that's his brother.
Frieza.
Cooler's his brother.
Well, you know what I mean, damn it. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's not a big figure. It should not cost full price. This is not a lot of plastic to this dude. He's like he's like 4 inches tall, maybe.
This is actually an impressive Frieza figure, what you get. This is the Dragon Stars, and he's $20.
Check out this meme.
Does he actually come apart?
Oh yeah, I've seen this meme many times.
Oh yeah.
When a girl tells you you bring home 6 figures a month, I love this meme.
Oh yeah.
This is a great meme. It's
fantastic. I would say though, for $20, this thing is super impressive.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, there's a Funko Pop of Arleo Vegeta, or Planet Arleo Vegeta, that sells between $5,000 and $10,000.
What the hell?
It's because they only made like a handful of them. So yeah, it's like one of the most expensive pops I've ever seen. Last time I saw it
insane.
sold was like 9 grand, 8-9 grand.
Anybody pays more than $10 for Pop's an idiot.
What do we got here? Oh, our 97s. These all went on pre-order at Amazon this week. I posted a bunch of links on Amazon for these guys. The only ones I care about, honestly, are Bishop and Magneto.
So
I think Bishop looks cool. I think it's a good Bishop figure.
Does the Frieza come with a separate torso that comes apart?
It didn't look like it. I don't know.
Well, the pictures show him being cut in half by Trunks.
Well, let me look it up.
Different
again.
parts.
Let me pull it up again. I already closed that tab. Damn it.
The arms and legs look articulated, but the torso is not articulated. It's split in two.
TC said he's paid less for Coke.
Yeah,
no
I think
shit.
it comes with an extra torso where you can recreate the scene where he gets cut in half.
Oh, it does look like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, interchangeable body pieces.
Okay.
4.7 inches tall, so he's tiny.
Yeah, he's a little dude. That's a cool looking figure. I don't get into the line anymore, but like it's a cool looking figure.
I only ordered the Magneto and Wolverine.
I want the Magneto and the Bishop. Those are the only two I'm concerned about. I've got so many Wolverine figures.
Body wise, I think that's the best looking Magneto they've made.
Oh yeah,
we get a all new torso. The legs end up being the boots are new, but the thighs and hips are reused from the Baron Strucker. They're basically retooled and redesigned Spider-Man UK legs, but they're actually we got thicker thighs than UK Spider-Man.
I love thick thighs. Oh wait, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. But
yeah, Lace in the chat says, I want X-Men 97 already, damn it. It was supposed to come out this summer. When I first heard it announced last year, they said it was going to be summer 2023. We were going to get X-Men 97. And crickets. I ain't heard anything about when this is supposed to, which makes sense because that's when these are released. These figures should be coming out around the same time as the show. And no show to be had.
For some reason, though, Hasbro's had to make Storm look like Jada Pinkett Smith.
This is a cool Wolverine figure. I will admit, I do like the thing I like about it the best is the head sculpt. Other than that, it looks exactly like the one I've already got from the Juggernaut wave.
100%. That's why I like it. I like both the head sculpts.
My favorite Wolverine was Wolverine Patient X when he's got shorts on and all that shit all over him from the 90s when he comes out. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean this one? You can't see that. You're on your phone, aren't you? This dude right here,
these like
Weapon
Kung
X
Fu Master Chi dudes that like fight like a classroom full of like martial arts students at one time and knock them all over with like one move and barely even move at all. The dude goes flying. Right? You've seen these guys, right? Why don't they ever like fight in the MMA? Why don't they like show up to like an MMA fight and just like put their hand like if they can fight a whole room full of like martial arts trained dudes by barely moving, surely one martial arts trained dude in a ring would be no problem. But they never do they?
No.
But by far, that's the best unmasked Wolverine head sculpt Hasbro's done. But this is Jada Pinkett Smith, and that's all I see when I see that.
That's totally her. I do like the head sculpt on this. I like the head sculpt on Gambit. The rest of it is not even as good as the Gambit I've got.
Yep.
Like it's the same thing, just not as good. The colors on the one I've already got are better. They have more metallic on the pink and the blue and everything. The other one's better, but that is a good head sculpt.
And they made a new jacket for this one to be more animated style too.
Yeah,
so the same arms but new jacket, which throws off looks too because the arms have a lot more wrinkles, more realistic than the jacket's very simplistic.
Yeah, but the head sculpt's good. I'll give them that.
His hair
It
don't
needs,
look like
it
French
needs a
fries.
wash on it, and then I could put it on that one.
At least his hair don't look like French fries.
Yes. This Rogue, I couldn't give a crap about. It's not as good as the other Rogue figures that have come out.
Yeah, the head sculpt is terrible in that one.
Yeah.
The face actually looks small.
Yeah.
And the skin tone is very pale.
Yeah, I don't give a crap about that. So, yeah, I like Bishop, and I like Magneto. You're right. The head sculpt on this one, both of them look fantastic, and then his head sculpt looks good. I don't care about the others. The rest of it, I don't care about.
I like the animated claws, too. I think it's the first time they've done the round claws, too.
Yeah. I mean, they're a decent-looking bunch. They're fine. I like them. Oh, look, we're getting another Batman figure from McFarlane.
What? He never makes Batman.
Isn't that crazy? Finally, what everybody's been asking for. I counted one time. Do you know he's up to almost 100 Batman figures out of a 350 figure run?
That seems low for him.
It's almost 100 last time I counted. He's if you don't count like the different editions of characters that are just like, where they're all gold or all silver or whatever. If you don't count those, he's gotten about 350 figures out in this line so far. Almost a third of them are Batman.
Why? I don't understand.
I don't know. Yet we can't get a decent Superman since the very first one he put out.
Right.
Did you count the Spawn Batman versus Batman 2-pack?
No, I did this count before that got released. So I did this.
Which
this
is hilarious.
A few months
ago. It's the wrong
ago.
Spawn and it's the wrong Batman.
Yeah. I don't care anymore about. I don't know. I'm so over McFarlane now at this point.
I mean, is even Batman that popular anymore to warrant that many?
Well, he's selling them, so yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
They sell. Every time he releases a new Batman figure, people lose their minds and go buy the crap out of it. So
he's got a lot of sycophants.
Yeah.
They will buy anything he puts out. I like the Bruce.
I'm very tempted to get this. I've got the Marvel Select Bruce, which I do like. It's a decent figure. It's not great. It's not Marvel Select, Diamond Select, excuse me. It's Diamond Select, so articulation is limited. It's a good looking figure. Great sculpt.
It just sucks this is a 5-inch scale.
I know. Because it looks like a really good figure, but it fits in with absolutely nothing else I have.
Mm-hmm.
At least
the only thing I got 5-inch scale is my Dragon Ball stuff.
At least the Diamond Select one I have, I can, technically he's 7-inch scale, but I can fudge him into I got him over there with Shang-Chi and all that shit. You know what I mean? Like I've got him there and he looks fine on display, but this dude's just way too damn small. It's a great looking figure, but it's way too damn small. So I don't know. It's cool though, I guess, if you're a Bruce Lee fan. I'm torn on this one too.
I mean, who isn't a Bruce Lee fan? I mean, come on.
I know at this point everybody should be.
Right?
I will say this is one of the better looking, like, Revoltech figures I've seen.
That douchebag Quentin Tarantino, he hates Bruce Lee.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, he feuds with his family, even though he's deceased. He still picks fights with them.
I don't know. I don't collect a lot of Revoltech stuff. I've got some Revoltech Iron Man that I just need to get rid of.
Look at that shoulder there. With that when he's got that in the bicep like that.
Yeah,
that's ugly as hell.
It is. Yeah, the Revoltech Iron Man that I've got, I picked up, and I don't know why. I got 3 of them. I should have stopped at 1 because I was like, this isn't as great as I thought. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But, like, I bought 2 more thinking they would be better. They weren't.
The articulation schemes on these are so fucking weird.
They are. And I like, okay, so
look at the
on this
pecs.
Thor figure, I do like this very stylized, crazy looking Thor. It looks cool if it was standard articulation.
Yeah.
It's a cool look for Thor.
I do
love
like the
wired
design.
cape,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
But this one static pose, well, you gotta put it in a certain pose for it to look good. And a lot of poses, it's gonna look like a train wreck.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wouldn't mind a line of stylized figures like this, but if it had like good articulation.
What was that one that I posted on Facebook the other day? Remember that Thor figure I posted on Toy Tubers?
Yeah.
And it was some brand I had never heard of, and
they sell them on Amazon.
Yeah, it looked like a really cool figure, but I have never heard of this brand.
They say they're 7-inch scale, but they're not. It's shorter than the Marvel Legends Thor.
I don't know. They're kind of pricey. They're like $38 or something.
Yeah.
But it was a cool looking figure. I wonder if I could find it.
Like Storm Collectibles claims to be a 112 scale, and they make 110 scale figures.
What was it? Let me find that link. Because I want to see if I can find it here. Posted so much shit. I don't know if it'll be in there anytime. Because it was a cool looking figure. Yeah, here we go. Let me find it. Hold on. Come on, give me the link, motherfucker. Yeah, this one. This thing right here is pretty damn cool looking. It's very stylized, and it's obviously not Marvel's version of Thor. But it looks pretty damn sweet. Like, I dig it.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I don't know if
yeah.
I mean, $40, but damn, But like, it's cool looking.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a great looking Thor figure. It's definitely Marvel inspired, even though it's not a true Marvel version of Thor. It's definitely inspired by Marvel's version of Thor. But like, I don't know. I've just never. What is this? Tutu Bear 7-inch Super War Game Series Purgatory Thor. Like, the hell?
But it's not 7-inch scale.
They call it. Well, I mean, and I don't care if it's 7-inch scale. If it would fit in with my Marvel Legends, I'd be happy with it. But I don't know. Like, I've never heard of this brand. I don't know if it's complete shit. This could be like an AliExpress brand or something. I don't know what the hell it is. It looks cool. 19.8 centimeters, 7-inch scale, blah, 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 blah. One hammer. Replacement hands. It's pretty sweet looking if it's at all like what's actually shown here in the pictures. I don't know if it is, but it looks pretty cool. I do like it. I am very tempted to pick one up just to try it out and see if it's any good and do a video on it, So,
well, if nothing else, you could also use it to kit back something else.
I mean, maybe if it depends on if it's compatible. I don't know, but I'm tempted to pick one up just because I'd like to do a video on it because I've never seen anybody do a video on this.
They actually make other Marvel characters. They make an Iron Man.
Yeah, no, I saw they've got other stuff here. They've got Iron Man with a complete setup, which looks pretty cool. That actually looks like ZD Toys. Is this ZD Toys? Is that what this is?
Someone in the comment just said that.
This look, because I've got some ZD Toys Iron Man figures, and that looks like ZD Toys. Yeah, that's a ZD Toys box. Okay, this is ZD Toys. Then I do know who this is, and they make good shit. So if that's a ZD Toys Thor, then yes, I know who that is. I have some of their stuff. Yeah, because that's a ZD Toys box. Okay, I know who this is now.
I like that Deadpool.
ZD Toys makes good stuff. They really do. Okay, cool. Cool. I might pick this Thor up. I might get this dude. Yeah, I might pick him up, do a video on him. That's pretty cool. Okay, well, now that I know it's ZD Toys, I don't know why it says Tutu Bear. Why didn't it just say ZD Toys? Or is that, oh, that's because that's who sells it. But that's not the brand. Okay, whatever. It's ZD Toys. I might pick one of these up. Those things are pretty damn cool.
It's interesting.
Those are nice.
Oh, they don't have free shipping either.
No, they don't have free shipping. $3.99 ain't bad, but like, yeah. But all right, cool. Well, now I know.
Door.
I just never looked at any of these other ones to see that they were that I didn't look at the Iron Mans. Otherwise, I would have known this was ZD Toys. Because their Iron Man figures are really good. Really good.
Yeah, the Deadpool looks pretty cool too.
Yeah, that Deadpool's pretty sweet.
Yep, I'm a huge Deadpool fan.
That's cool, man. Cool. All right. Well, now I know what that Thor figure is. I'm much more likely to pick him up. So
I think it would be cool personally with that bike that Jared's friend's making to have Deadpool that start turning into Ghost Rider, put on the bike.
Deadpool Ghost Rider.
That would be cool.
Wade Wilson as Ghost Rider. Oh, that'd be a frightening concept.
Yeah, no shit, but it'd be cool in my opinion.
Oh, that Thor is some kind of Gamerverse skin.
Okay. Well, either way, knowing that it's ZD Toys brings up my confidence level a lot because I already have some and they're really good. So, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I definitely want to pick this dude up. Oh, Don dropped in a super chat, says, do y'all know of a good place to snag an omnibus comic collection at discount other than eBay? Yeah, there's this place called In Stock Trades, which I bought a lot of stuff from them. It's instocktrades.com. That's where I buy. Anytime I buy trade paperbacks or collections or anything like that, I buy from them. They have the best prices. I've been buying from them for the better part of 10 years, maybe longer. I don't know. But I highly recommend them. I'll show you. Yeah. They deal exclusively in trade paperbacks and collections and omnibuses and things like that. And I bought a lot of stuff from them over the years. And that's where I got all my Walking Dead trades. And like my Saga trades and all kinds of stuff. I got all my Age of Apocalypse trades from them. I bought a bunch of stuff from them and highly recommend them. Highly recommend them. So check them out. Let's see. TC dropped in a link here, a YouTube link. What is this? Why is that? Oh, is this the Thor? Oh, cool. A video on Thor. Sweet. Let's see. So somebody did a video on Thor.
Hello, what is up? I'm so sorry, I'll post your Alex see for some visual artists from.
Okay, I don't know what he's saying.
I saw a few of those on YouTube, but they're all foreign language videos for that Thor.
Well, ZD Toys is exclusively like ZD Toys has the rights to Marvel stuff in China. And only in China, but they haven't. No, ZD Toys has the actual official Marvel license in China, and but like lots of surrounding countries, lots of in India and things like that. That's where you see most of the videos for ZD Toys stuff, is because it all filters into that general area of the world. And so there's like ZD Toys has not caught on here. I don't know why. They are 7-inch scale, so I get why some people, wouldn't be into them, especially if you collect Marvel Legends. Fucking ads, man. But they're really cool. Like, if you're buying like Marvel Select stuff, like I'd rather buy ZD Toys stuff. This is not a high quality video, but that's okay. That's his cape. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to pick this dude up. I think that would look great on my Thor shelf. Oh, that's some crazy articulation there. You shouldn't pose him like that. All right, cool, man. Thank you, TC. Appreciate that. Good times, people. Well, look, it is time to wind this one down for this evening. Okay. We've been going about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it is time to wish everybody farewell and adieu. Elvita saying goodbye. And we will see you guys again next week for more Weekend Geek. Of course, I got some videos. I got to make some videos. I got to make videos on all this shit that I just showed you. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos to make. I'm going to attempt to make 10 videos tomorrow. That means my day is full. Because I've got 10 videos I need to make, and I don't have a chance to make them during the week. I have to do them on the weekends. So I'm going to attempt to do 10 videos tomorrow, so that I can start getting them out on all this Spider-Man stuff and the new Batman and the shipwreck. I've got a Luke Skywalker I got to do a video on. I got a Bazooka I got to do a video on, and some other ones over there I got to do a video on. So I got videos to make for this stuff here. But of course, on the NEA channel, we'll see you guys on Monday. Jared, you've got your live stream tomorrow night, so we will see you then. And I think that is about it. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. We will see you next week for more Weekend Geek. And we're going to get out of here. Deuces, yo. Later, guys.